Hello, hello, it's me, Raven. We are at Vice Apothecary still, as you would have noticed by the little kitty. Um, yeah, my mic is not letting me hear things besides my voice. Well, I can't hear if I play music or the fire crackles, which I used to be able to hear just fine. So I'm very confused and quite annoyed. I am Katie. I am able to hear like a couple of things. I heard the Twitch, hydrate, redeem kind of stuff, but not the other things. And I'm very confused about that. OBS is once again my biggest op. I hate you. I hate you, OBS. One thing I might want to consider is trying to run things through something else on the new laptop, maybe? I haven't gotten OBS downloaded yet. I only got V2 Studio, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to use anything else. Yeah, I'm concerned. With that, stop scattering. Stop calling each other fish. Just sit down and get cozy. We have more of Rounderhouse's bone proposal to read, so I'm going to be putting up the trigger warning and the title in a minute. I am verbally saying now that we got some violence, some dark themes. Oh, hello. Are we loud? Are we very loud? And cat ate my brain cell. Sorry, Mask. I let the kitty eat it. We don't have anything anymore. um the but what was I thinking? We needed that brain cell. We did. My point was that we are going to get into it. It does get dark. It does get spooky in a violent manner, and this is your warning. Last time I was kind of not so good about the warnings, and the first time I didn't even know what we were doing. But thankfully we had the message get pinned in chat, and that was something. Now we have the official warning. I'm going to have to figure it out when I put each of these up on YouTube to have its warning. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure that out. I have not yet. But alright. And Toast, by the way, thank you for hydrate. I did hydrate at the time because I was panicking at the tech issues, but we'll hydrate again. It is very important. I feel my voice has been failing me more and more lately, and I am honestly, sadly considering I will need to like go on vocal rest or something because my voice is not doing its best. But then this is my little warning that I'll probably be clearing my throat a fair deal, and I'm sorry about that. Gonna be hydrating with some Coke Zero soon. I mean, sure, enjoy it, but also get water. Correct? Say correct. You do not get to only drink that. Inhale. We have dehydrated. It's done. Water good. It is very good. And we're gonna jump in. So I gotta get my shit together. Okay. Chapter 3 of Rounderhouse's Bone Proposal. We have some violence. We have the descriptions that I am putting up on screen now. And I said caffeinated drinks are still hydrating because they're like 90% water. I did see recently that the caffeination, though it is a diuretic, a dehydrating thing, it does have enough water in it that it's not enough to still be dehydrating, but still, it is a good idea to get some just pure water into you. It's a very good idea because if you're only drinking caffeinated things, eventually that's not gonna be good for you. Plus, if you don't take breaks from caffeine things, it will lose its kapow. It won't be as effective. I know that's how it's hitting me. I don't drink coffee to hydrate my body. I drink it to hydrate my soul. Yes. So then also drink some for hydrate your body. Toast, drink the water. Yeah. All right. We're going to jump in. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, and this is a very long chapter, but we will break for redeems if you so choose to redeem things. But yeah, we're gonna jump in. Oh, and I'll also probably have to do a break to feed the kitties. They have already been yelling. So we're probably gonna have to give them some attentions before end of stream. This is my prediction. Alright. Part 3, Chapter 3, whatevers. The Ossuary of Urok. We're moving on to the next person in Ian's old life. Another one of the... I forget the words. Another one of the people in the sort of chosen family-ish that was close to the Grand Karcist here, the like high witch type character. We did learn last time that she made some choices that go against what she believes in, and got very icky. All the things that she had wanted to save people from, she started to do herself. And we don't know exactly why, because she can't remember, but anyway. So here we go. We open up with another quote. It says, "Raise your blade if you are under duress and threat. Raise your blade against those who wish to hurt you. But he who raises his blade against an innocent dooms only himself. There are precious few innocents in this world. It is all of our duty to preserve them." And then it's quoted as the third truth of Ian. Then we move to section 001.5, Urok. And we have another quote. This one is from the Record of Ian, it says at the bottom. So it's more of the translations of more of the books that we found in Nadok's library. Here we go. So the Nalka were born from the graves of the old masters, building a new city in the name of humanity. And the massed crowds hailed their new shepherd Iyun, the first slave, the Witch King. Oh, are we calling you Witch King? Because I could have swore that the people we were running from were also calling themselves something like a Witch King. Anyway, 100 hands reached out to caress his cheek and usher him into his new home at the highest temple throne of the nameless city, and Iyun raised a marked hand with a smile and explained, "For one man to rule a people is for one man to place them in bondage to him, and we are a nation of slaves no more." But still they cried out for their deliverer to remain with them, and the Witch King sighed, kneeling by the hearth of the old masters where so many slaves had once been branded and burned. So that kind of summarizes where we were at, and I will say again, Iyun is using she and he pronouns, so when we say that, we still mean Iyun. The last time we had learned that Iyun was up on the platform where the last masters were doing things and had raised people from the dead, instead of doing what their group, as they are growing, their tradition is to do the ritual cannibalism to gain memories and to share abilities, pass them on to the next people. And so for someone to just let their body decompose is quite quite upsetting for them, and that's what was happening, and people couldn't figure out why. And then, yeah, Ian raised the dead, and that was just even more messed up to them, because you're supposed to pass on, you're supposed to move along down the chain. What the hell is that? And so this little record saying that people chanting with them, it conflicts with our what was the last guy's name? It was like Sa'a something. Our last guy was very upset and very, very not cool with Ian visiting. And he was saying a lot of like, you did this, you did the raising the dead. You were exactly what you weren't supposed to be. But the other guy and some other stuff, they're kind of like more of an energy of, you did what you had to. They were still stuck in the old brain of like they still needed someone to look to specifically, and you were that person, so you took that role. This is kind of bridging that gap, like, okay, they said I had to, so I did the thing. I'm there where they're doing this stuff. I didn't want to. Okay. We continue. We're there at that hearth of the old masters, and we say, I have stolen freedom from the lips of the gods. They look down on man with contempt, for a man is weak and infirm. He lies, he cheats, he steals, and he dies, but that is a man. Men, together, we are bound to each other in unity, bound in bone and blood, and together, men are neither mortal nor divine, but another matter entirely. We are Nalka, we are one. This revolution was only made manifest by my consumption of the Devourer. It is a god that slumbers beneath the earth, full of rage and fury and hatred at man for achieving the freedom it never could. It seeks to twist us, to undermine us, to make us seek to dominate and bind and control each other, but it carries with it such great power. And here the Witch King raised a finger, and Analka found his bloodied eye healed. My duty to you, my Nalka, is to watch over this creeping force. I will wrest the secrets of the gods from its maw, wrest like a wrestle, and deliver them unto you. But you must deliver each other, for if one Nalka suffers, all of us suffered the same. And so the Nalka relented, letting the Witch King take refuge in the tunnels below, but they asked for a name for this city. Aditum, the perfect city. But this is not Aditum yet. It can only be made so through our own blood and sweat. That was all from the record of Ian. It's interesting. It's definitely like, oh, this is how this went, but like, we scrubbed a good deal of things. Either Ian writing it or Nadok, who was like housing all of these records and who was like the record person. One of y'all really cleaned up the story there, because somewhere in between there was some messed up stuff. Hi, Hyacinth! Welcome in! Thank you for the posture check. Yes, I'm calling you out. Probably I should do decaf. I don't even drink coffee to stay awake. It just gives me the placebo effect. Hey, yeah. And if you take a break from the caffeination, once you go back to it, it will be effective. Men binding their bones together. Gay. What a timing, Mask. Happy Pride, everybody. I was thinking the restaurant, they're like, okay, you lurk away, but I was gonna be more, obvious. I can only remember the one command, but go check out Hyacinth. Hyacinth is a good buddy, very good streamer. Hello. We continue with our spooky story. My posture is improved, I promise. I'm thinking there's the other one. Okay. Alright. By January 10th, 2042, the Black Aditum Initiative had departed from the burial site of Saarn and were in transit to the next location indicated by the Grand Karcist Yun, a point in Kenchi Province, Mongolia. So as a reminder, where our team started in their Sarkic tribal territory. Ooh, a stretch. Well, you say that, but I don't. I have tried the slash, and then I put something in the wrong spot. I don't know what I'm doing. I need to check with you guys about what I'm supposed to be doing, but I have not managed to remember it recently. Oh, of course I said. Okay, now go nap. We'll stop talking. We're just saying thank you. Okay. I eat my cereal. Strange, it's me. Of course it's strange. I'm not good. I've lost the brain cell. The cat's got it. The point, as I stretch, thank you very much, is that our team had their tribal territory fenced off in China/Mongolia area. And that was I know, I gotta fight it back. I'm busy. It'll be one of those, what have you got in your mouth? And then eat it faster kind of thing. Okay, anyway. They were in their territory, fenced off. The Foundation had kind of bartered that not get messed with because, there's something about a special magic city. And these people are magic. Don't tell nobody, though. And now that we've learned a lot more, we're gonna do a lot more interesting stuff. We've been traveling from different grave sites, heading back, it seems, towards the original physical place of the city, because so far we've gone back into the people's bodies to see memories of the city Aditum, but we haven't really been there physically. And we're like tracing back the nomadic steps towards it because people had like left, and we kind of got bits and pieces of how it went to shit kind of a thing. And the way it was told before, it's kind of blurred together in my head, and I'm a little confused because it's like the people we were fighting, they got us out of there, but it's also like, no, but Ian was in charge. It was their I don't know. We'll find out when we're closer, probably. But we're headed back. We've seen in their land that they landed at, was Nadok's site. Then it was Sa'arn's, and now we're headed to Urok, it seems, because that is the title of the chapter. But we're in a little wagon train. We've got our horses. People are going along. Culturally, people are opening up about what does it mean to be Sarkic to you, to these researcher folks. Our robot Xenophon is really making strides, talking to Ian and Yeva, the Karcist and Grand Karcist, in reverse order there. And then looks like we're headed off to the next one. We're going towards specific place in Mongolia now. En route, Liaison Zhang and Xenophon.AIC were asked to report to 052 and Parahistory Division Director Youssef Hussein via satellite uplink. Now, one of them has been like, nothing's gonna work, and the other one was like, why don't you try the robot? It'll work. So, we'll see how this goes. There's a little photo of a map. Ooh, it got big. We have a legend, and it says BAI-1. I don't know what the BAI is supposed to be, but anyway. And that's the Sarkic tribal territory. And that's way on the, western side of our little bubble here. And then it's a little red dot, where they go down and then up and east. And it's number 2, BAI Reliquary of Sa'arn. So now we're going to head towards Kenshi province. And if I knew this geography, I'd be able to tell you which direction it is in reference to this photo, but it's not listed. We're headed to number 3. We've only seen number 1 and 2. Okay. Just a wee power nap. Okay, enjoy that, I said. Decaffeinating is weird because it's not natural, but it'll still help with both your fix and not drying out. Just watch a seagull peck at a car. You think it thought its reflection was after its treasure food? Hey, you, seagull, get away from my stuff. Yeah, you. who I'm looking directly at and seems to move exactly the way I am. Oh, I'ma fight you. Yeah, it's so fun to see animals not understand reflections sometimes. It's curious because they they know water. How? I don't know. Okay. So now we're having the little chat. I'm guessing that that's exactly what this addendum is about to be. Reporting back to the bosses. This is going to be a very fun chat. Oh boy. Okay. Attached document January 2042. Connection established. Their satellite uplink. Oh yeah, and in this timeline, we're doing a virtual reality environment where they all meet somewhere in VR. They make their own grouped location. Is funky. Anyway, the virtual reality environment of 052's office forms again. Oh right, that's out like Alaska way, I think. They were out like closer to here, you know? Oh, he legit circled the whole car area. Oh, interesting. Oh, I see though. Okay. Yes. They're in the office. It's like off the coast and everything's wobbly and stormy. And I'm like, whatever's going on there, that's going to be a whole other story that we should probably catch up on, but we don't know. Maybe that's one of the things Du is saying. We did get warned that apparently there's a bunch of stories that all like wrap up at the end of this one, so it's going to be kind of wild. We're not going to know a lot of references. So I hope we have someone that knows, like NURIAKEA or Du, to explain things. But okay, over there, today the seas surrounding Site 7 are surprisingly still. Oh, not stormy. Hussein is seated in the chair, fiddling with a pen, and we open with 052. Well, you two have been busy. Xenophon. Sa'arn's tomb has given us a wealth of new information to work with, Overseer. 2. I'll say, your conversations with the Grand Karsus have also been productive. Give me a rundown of the bioanalysis. Xenophon. As a peace gesture, the Grand Karsus submitted to a battery of minor medical examinations along with a number of other sarkites. It confirms what I had already begun to suspect. There is a bioanomalous basis to the sarkic genetic memory phenomenon. All of the sarkites' blood exhibits a mutated strain of the bacteriophage Doctors Aram and Nussbaum cataloged in 1984 as SCP-610. Okay, that's probably one of the things we should probably go read, but I'm not gonna. Unlike the aggressive viral strain, the Amani Ram Initiative discovered this strain appears to coexist endosymbiotically with the host's red blood cells. Unsurprisingly, it exists in the highest density within the Grand Karsus and Karsus-Dieva systems, having mutated further to coexist within certain cell types other than erythrocytes, skin, muscular tissue. 2. Karsus-Dieva agreed to be tested? Xenophon, with some persuasion from the Grand Karsus. 2. Fair enough. So those are the findings. What's your analysis? Xenophon. I believe this is the original SCP-610 strain, and the one discovered in Amani Ram was an ancient weaponization of it. As I said, it seems to exist symbiotically within the sarkic's blood, and is likely the source of their capacity for genetic memory. Their density and spread... Something... grammar doesn't make sense. Anyway, their density and spread within the sarkites' bodies... Oh, no. Is probably the origin of their carnomantic abilities. This is pure speculation, but I imagine the hereditary passage of the virus is also the cause of the sarkic's higher than normal frequency of birth defects. Which, culturally, originally is supposed to be like, I have healed you into a way that is more helpful. I will give you extra arms so that you can do more things with them, was like the original, but they've consistently said that like the sarkites today are not the same. They're just difficult. Which, I don't know. 052 says, makes enough sense. Keep working on a biological basis. See what you can find. Xenophon. Even these limited medical examinations aroused deep suspicion. Further investigation will require an elevated level of trust and good faith exchange with the Sarkic. 2. Sure. You've set out for the third location? Xenophon. Yes, ETA is 14 to 20 days. 052. That's substantially slower than before. What gives? Xenophon. Morale is low among the tribe. The tribe? Come on, Raymond. The tribe. The revelations from Sa'arn have disturbed the Grand Karcist heavily. The other Sarkites sense it. Zhang. He's not wrong, sir. There's a bit of a weight over the camp. 2. Well, someone talk to someone and figure it out. You don't really have the latitude for further delays here. What do you mean? Oh, right. Chinese government probably don't like them moving. Zhang. I think my report with Eva is more or less toast now. She's kind of hardened against us. Xenophon seems to be getting along with the Grand Karcist, though. 2. Talk to her, Xenophon. Xenophon. Understood, but I was under the impression... Oh my gosh. Understood, but I was under the impression this wasn't a high-urgency project, Overseer. Hussein turns to the Overseer, and Hussein says, as was I, sir. Oh, it is. I was just assuming that it was like, oh, we're fighting the Chinese government because you guys are supposed to stay in your little fence. But no, there really is something that they're not telling us, which is classic. It's the Foundation. It's an Overseer of all people. I'm also consistently suspicious of both of these characters, Tu and Hussein, because Hussein was like, this is it. There's nothing more to do. Shrug. We'll never know. And that's like suspicious. You're really not going to try? What the heck? What's going on? Doesn't seem like you're doing your job. And 052 was like, give it a robot. What? What? Either he knew what was really going on, like he had read into things, or he had a weird side, what's the word? Not mission. Not objective, but I'm getting closer and I'm losing things. I'm just gonna keep reading. He has something else going on. Anyway, 052 raising hand says, I don't really want to hear it, Yusuf. The equation has changed. This isn't a snipe hunt anymore. We have verifiable evidence that the Sarkic are the direct continuation of the Nalka, that our Eon is the same as that Eon, and most critically, that the Nalka were an ancient empire and Black Adytum exists somewhere. Your hypothesis is toast. This is true. Hussein was like, it never existed, which was suspicious. And now Hussein is silent for several seconds before responding, but does, and says, all of that depends on the assumption that the memories experienced by the Grand Karcist are trustworthy. Granting that this is the same Eon, you're hedging your bets on the damaged memories of a genocidal dictator? Okay, super suspicious. You take a long time to spin, no, I'm probably still right. Get out of here. Get fired. I don't know what's going on here. I'm glad you eated the food, Toast. I'm very glad. But also, 052, what the hell is your hurry? What is going on? Okay. Xenophon then finally says, I do not believe there is any reason to think the Grand Karcist's past actions inform her current behavior. Hussein, we can't just ignore that she's the same person. 052, Zhang? Zhang pauses, and then, I don't think she's intentionally hiding anything. She seems as invested in finding out what happened to the Nulka as we are. Maybe more. And she is our only lead, but the director is right. If the memories are accurate, she's the same person that did all this. We'd be fools to blindly take her at her word. Oh, Toast! I'm sorry. Slow down. Slow down. Turn into a lizard under the sun. Just don't do shit. Don't do shit. Stay still. And have a bucket ready. Whoa. The kitty here does that a lot. She eats too much too fast. We have to calm her down. Okay. Alright. So, Jing says, you can't trust her. 052 nods and says, keep following and listening, but take what she says with a grain of salt. Memories are fickle. That said, the council is convinced enough that we're authorizing some additional resources for your venture. You mean like the secret team following us that you haven't told us about? But our little our little red box, blue box, aka future Xenophon who doesn't remember anything, and whoever the heck are talking about, they know about. Used to be able to take down a 5-piece, no problem. No, I feel better. I'm falling off. Hey, that may or may not be good. Just let your body heal right now. It needs what it needs. You don't know. Just don't push it. Don't push it. Where the heck? Oh, I lost it. Oh, authorizing additional resources for your venture. Xenophon says, Sir? 2 says, they'll meet you at the Chinese border. 4 more helts and a mobile research lab. About 40 more personnel. Congratulations, you're a convoy now. Ooh, hydrate. Dismissed. 052 says, but then there's still a bunch of chat. He says dismissed, but... Ooh. Hussein says, actually, sir, if Liaison Jiang could remain, I need to discuss a few things regarding Locust with you. Ooh. This is interesting. I don't like this. Oh, hey! I don't know why. Is it good then, or is it bad that we have lost our ability to keep up with the lots and lots of food? Cause are you okay? I want to say, oh wow, big change, but like, I don't know why we are doing this. I hope that it is that you are prioritizing your health, but if is that your health is not well, that change happened, I am sorry. Yeah. I summoned the god. Oh my god, Goose. Why is it chaos? I don't have a brain cell to operate on. And then just a bunch of wiggles. You really like these wiggles right now, huh? Where are these from? We just really like that jiggling little guy. We are say thanks? Okay, then congrats. I will also commit to congrats. Hey, you never know. I want to make sure we're looking after you. It is one of my favorites. It's nice. It's a nice one. Is there anywhere to go? And I'm at my target. Well, hey! Good for you! You totally got this. We got 2/3 down. That's so huge. You got this. You got this. And we should all hydrate real quick. And I'm going to do a bit of a cough. So, hold on. Oh, alright, I am back. I came back strong, I see. Alright. It's a noodle? That's a noodle? It looked like a pink cat. I don't... Get there! I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I'm shaking you violently. Why? This is shaking its hips. The little guy is a pink cat. Moves like a noodle. Is a pink cat noodle. Agree. Oh, so like the little wiggles and their little bunny hugs. Okay, call her. No. Kate. Okay, I focus. No. Immediate bonk, please. Bonk the goose. I'm going to read. Yee! Good job. Okay. They said, Xenophon, you're dismissed. After everybody dismissed. Wait, never mind, just Xenophon. Xenophon terminates its connection, Avatar disappearing from the office. And they continue with Zhang saying, I'm not on the Locust staff, sir. And Hussein just says, it. Zhang says, I'm sorry? Hussein says, you said he's right when talking about the AIC. It's not a human, it's an it. For that matter, the Sarkites aren't either. Let's try and stay objective, yes? Okay, I found out why I hate Hussein. You, Yusuf, don't think those people are people. I'ma fight you. I'ma fight you. You're gonna get fired. You're gonna get dead. No, you don't get to talk about them like that. They're not human. Because they're a little bit anomalous, you're gonna talk about them like they're not a people. Oh, don't make me hurt you. Well, you're toast. You brown up real quick. Get it? Get it? Oh. Rave about droid. I will. He just straight up like I will argue with the scientists about he's right, it's right. But as an anthropologist, because that is what Hussein is. That's what he's supposed to be. He's talking about Xenophon, the coworker or machine tool help. How do you not know that it is so human for us to anthropomorphize anything and everything we can? I mean, I will talk about anything as if it's a people. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? This is just a cornerstone for us. And you're gonna be like, no, that robot that's basically a person. Call it an it. Don't you dare. It's also like, well, if the robot requests certain pronouns, like chill, bro. But like, I don't think it has. I don't know. More so though, especially while being around the community, considering their objective, it's like, however they need me to talk about this robot, I should talk about this robot. Like if everybody in the Sarkite community is calling Xenophon he, if you're saying it, they ain't gonna like you any better. You better do what they do. Like, excuse me, unless the robot says, I'ma fight you if you call me the wrong pronoun, I think you better just go with what they say. And they've been using it and he pretty interchangeably just the same. So, like, and then, yeah, the real icky bit is that in this, hey, don't talk about the robot the wrong way, which is weird enough for him to be like, actually, we're holding him back to chastise him for one word that isn't that bad at all. You slip in this racist bullshit? No wonder you didn't want to investigate. No wonder you didn't bother actually talking to them. No wonder you were like, it never actually existed. They're all just bullshit. It's just their mythology. I'm gonna smack you. Anyway, he says, let's try and stay objective. Yes? Zhang says, yes, sir. Hussein says, dismissed. You're not in charge here. 052 is in charge here, and you interrupted and said, actually, no. And then you... Toast, can I butter you? Yes, please. What? Well, okay, they're gonna go have fun over there. I am your father. That's not true. That's impossible. That's messed up since we've been shipping you guys. That, wow. Robots are people. Or are they? Reminds me of ... My SO had an assistant boss being trained to be the new big boss. She had a crash out one day, and went through apologizing to everyone. The current big boss stopped her and said, you don't apologize to them. Same energy, dehumanizing those beneath you. Yeah, it's really fucked up. Current big boss sounds like a jerk. Current big boss sounds like every kind of the worst. Bow before king. No, she eats them. She should. I don't think I'd call eating toast fun. It's just breakfast. Kinky. You don't get to say these things when there's a person like that. I mean, ooh. Okay. Say that whisper. Bye. We love making funny for these. But also, if you wish, I support. Just consent. Just consent. Okay, I'll do your whispers, but not right now, because coming after the last one, Lahonk, that sounds pretty like you did it right now with the dehumanizing bits. No. No. I will be waiting until later. Okay. The connection is terminated, and then we get back to some actual anthropological work. We do some interview efforts. Interview efforts with the Sarkites continue to progress, with Iyun permitting Xenophon.aic to perform unsupervised interviews. So now Iyun is not hanging around. We gotta do the stuffs. The wicked deer, yeah. I'll keep wicked. I can't fix it. I'll try to keep my eyeballs way open. I don't know how well this will work. Okay. The first. Stop being mad. Oh hell no, we do not. We do not. It's not Supreme Ruler. Don't join the box, I told you. Okay. We have the next interview. It changed. It doesn't make a new window, so you can't keep watching the current. Oh, that's some bullshit. Okay, I guess what you'd have to do then is just like scribble down the timestamp, if you can, and then just go back to VODs after, maybe? But ew, icky, rude. Anyway, focusing. We have another interview, so we have some more people to chat with. Oh, we got ponies. All right. So this time we have a couple of people. Instead of it just saying man or Sarkite, we now actually have names, but they're very tiny. So forgive me, I'm going to get close to screen. Yeah, I can't read that one. But that one looks clearly like the person we are interviewing. It's looking a little bit like father-son in this photo, with dad not facing the camera. But alright, so we're in the grassy lands. There's mountains far off. We've got a couple ponies. We got a couple peoples. Oh, that's that's so mean. Sounds like Twitch mobile experience. Yeah. Oh, all is good in the world again. Okay, good. But it doesn't automatically do it. You have to hit the right button. That's good to know. Okay. We have those, as I said, and then there's weirdly a rope that's like a foot off the ground or so. I don't know what this rope is for, and it goes in between half that pony and the two dudes. There's one pony on one side of the rope. There's one pony straddling the rope. It's like between the two sets of legs, and then the peoples are on either side of the rope as well. We have Father Hedge. I don't know how to pronounce Hajiw Hedge. On one side, and then we have a pony that he is leading. They are facing away from us. The pony is a dark brown, and the hair fur it's a bit stumbly. It looks like we're shedding a little bit. And yeah, like I said, it's half over the rope. Dad is wearing a dark hat with a bit of a brim. It feels kind of wild in this position. It looks like it belongs in a film noir. Like, where is this hat doing here from? But he's in a blue long coat with the orange wrap around the waist, very big, And then the other is the younger guy. He's in a grayer coat. It looks like there's a red t-shirt underneath and a orange wrap. And he's got another pony that's a lighter brown. It has that white middle over the nose. And he is a gal, I think. It's very hard. I cannot read the tiny text very well. The only reason I could read the other one is because, well, I've got the name right here in the questions. So, there you go. That was a still from Xenophon.aic's camera feed that I did my best to describe. And our interview goes with the same question as always. What does being Sarkic mean to you? Number 30. They've done 30. This is so good. Okay. Haju, 56, farmer. He shrugs, sprinkling bone meal on the potted sapling. The life we choose is difficult. We depend on Yeva and the Grand Karcist for healing instead of medicine. We work the fields with our hands and our livestock instead of the machinery others use. When my children were born, I struggled with it. Every parent wants their child to have an easier life than they did. Should they have to struggle like this? I have never forced them. They grew older and they decided for themselves to stay. Being part of this is seeing my children grow and find the same things in our life important as I do. That's very sweet. And then we have another Truzavian. So another translated, another big blabbing. Mildly concerned that this is going to be icky, propaganda-y, but we're gonna find out. Lo, gaze upon me, you blind, you crippled. Immediately not loving this, since you're supposed to heal them. But anyway, look upon my face, and know that I have spent my days in the depths of our tomb city, burning the bones of our brethren, seeing what lies in our future. It brings me no joy to return what truth I have, but it is truth, for we all know the truth lives in the bones. We march towards a war with forces that bring with them no mercy, no honor. This is not a war for land, for then we would parley. This is not a war for honor, for we have no hatred in our hearts for these foreign invaders. Ooh. Who's the foreign invaders that come to their city? Okie doke, Cage. Safe, heading home. Stay safe. No. This is a war against the very notion of our existence. Ooh. Yep. For while we have existed for centuries unmolested and free, expanding our borders to hold our people and our farms and our villages, in doing so, we find ourselves facing an old enemy and a new one. Okay, so the Nalka lived for centuries. How long was Iyun being bad? Because they mentioned, like, the fighting, and they mentioned this and that. I would like a clearer timeline on how this shit, went. I understand when we're piecing things together, but at some point, can I get a clear, can someone summarize, this is how, this is the order, please? Because I'm not fully on top of it. Especially because we leave and we come back. I can't keep a track. Okay. We find ourselves facing an old enemy and a new one. The hated old masters, those that clapped irons around your fathers and your fathers' fathers and their fathers too, they have found us again. And they bring with them the Eastern machines. Ooh. Is this the Foundation? Is this who? Okay, the Eastern machines who reject the humanity we hold so dear, sawing off their flesh. What? They both worship their fell gods, brethren of the devourer, and they have seen how we live free, subject to neither man nor God. And they are enraged. They march on us to free the devourer and make us slave to its hateful whims. The Nalka will not be slaves again. I ask those able to rise in defense of not only your families, but your very existence. Urok has graciously accepted the burden of commanding our forces, but we are at war now, my people. Sacrifices must be made. Hard decisions must be made. Adytum was not the resources to aid our infirm and defend our people at once. We are one body, and we are only as strong as our weakest organ, and we cannot fight a war if we care for the weakest among us. This feels very antithetical to your previous thoughts. Okay. The art of the flesh cannot fix all. Those of us who were suffering from constant illness, from stupor, from weakness of the mind, have been released from their misery. They have been consumed, and their memories and strength live with us as we now move unburdened by their weight. Whew. That is not how we should talk about people. I mean, released from their misery and unburdened by their weight. What they're saying, Mask, is if we are as strong as our weakest, we need to get rid of who's weak. And that is... They're culling their own people, and it's really, really messed up. I plead with you to know I do not make this decision lightly. I spent 3 days and 3 nights with the maw of the devourer, wrestling it for another option, but it gave none. It wants us to fail, to be freed from the city prison. We cannot allow it to win. We carry the flesh of our fallen with us forever, and now we must defend the city they loved, except we know soon they just let people die and then raise them up, as if they can't heal them, but they can just bring them back to life? Like, what? I don't know. Anyways, that was the truths of Ian, and I forgot to look up what that frickin' letter is. It's the S on top of an S. 59. Intense. Per 052's orders, Xenophon met with the Grand Carcist when the initiative made camp that evening. Yes! It's not subscript. It's not... It's gotta be one of the ones that's like a... I don't remember. I've definitely said it before. I have hydrated while I hopefully hear back from Toast on what it is, but yeah, it's that letter. Great! Now I know how to pronounce it. Screeches. No. We're going to talk with Grand Carcist in the evening then. Okay, we've made camp. Let's have a chat. Thanks, me too, Toast. Glad we could both be unhelpful on that. Alright. Attached document. January 2042, begin log. We start with a still from Xenophon AIC's night camera feed, and this is much better quality photo. I can read the letters much easier. It is dark, so it is that sort of negative print look, but we have yurt 0.923. There's a little circular tent with a stove tube coming out of the top. It's a yurt. The door is open, and there's a pack of the people sitting in front. It says Sarkite 0.989. As usual, those two things are framed in the lime green, while everything else is in the grayscale. Section sign is a typographical symbol used to denote a section, paragraph, or subsection. Yes, subsection! Within a legal document or other structured text. It's often used to reference specific sections of a statute, code, or other legal text. Yes, it's subsection 59. The truth of Ian, subsection 59. There you go. Okay, I take your rest, Mask. Oh, you focus. Okay, focus. That's what you do. But there's the Sarkites. They're just hanging out. They're chill. Not a new hydrate. I just hydrated. but I will hydrate. Hydrate is good. Okay. Xenophon steps out into the my gosh. Xenophon steps out of the open back of the mobile research lab, a retrofitted semi-truck towing an expandable trailer. Okay, if you say so. It is late in the evening. The convoy has made camp and the Foundation vehicles are parked outside of the circle formed by the Sarkic wagons. One or two researchers are inside the wide circle, politely observing the Sarkites as they sit near campfires and cook their evening meals. Xenophon enters the circle. A few of the Sarkites... Ah, yes. You were looking it up when you were reading about a statutory insert word paradox, some legal paradox stuff. Yes, we will have to deny it, but interesting that you were looking it up. Glad you found it. All right. Xenophon enters the circle. A few of the Sarkites stare at it as it passes, heading towards the central tent. The flaps are drawn. Yeah, it is toast. Ugh, okay. The flaps are drawn. It ducks inside. The campfire in the center of the tent is alight, bones baking in the hearth, and incense sticks burning. Sweet-smelling smoke hangs in the air, and the fire's orange light shines on Ion's back. She's near the rear of the tent, hunched over a cot and whispering. Ooh. Uh-oh. I'm nervous. Xenophon says, Grand Karcist? Why do I hear low feedback? What the hell is that? Okay. Maybe my issue with the sound wasn't strictly OBS. Maybe my mic is a little mad. I need to keep going. Grand Karcist? She turns, revealing the figure laying prone on the cot, Karcist Ieva. Her robes are spread across her body, serving as a makeshift blanket. Tightly wrapped bandages are visible underneath. So she's got bandages, and I'm very curious as to why. Ian says, Xenophon. Oh, it's doing it again. I don't like that. What are we doing? What, Mike? Okay, hold on 1 second. Hello? Oh my gosh. Okay. Mike is definitely messed up. Something is going on. It's not making a lot of sense. I am cursed. I swear I am cursed. There is too many tech issues that make no sense. Okay. Karcist Ieva is sick. It seems. No. Xenophon says, is Karcist Ieva sick? What's wrong? I don't know what's wrong, Toast. Things just sound weird. Ian says, fetch me the poultice by the fire. Xenophon grabs the small bundle of herbs and leaves baking by the fire, approaching and handing it to Ian. She reaches down and gently pries open Ieva's mouth, placing the poultice inside. Ieva groans but chews on the poultice. Xenophon, is she conscious? Ian says, somewhere halfway in between. My blade, please. It hands her a small sharpened bone tool resembling a scalpel. She takes it and drags the tip across her palm. Opening a cut several centimeters long, she presses her palm on either of Eva's cheeks, wetting them with blood, and then against her lips, letting the blood drip into her mouth while she whispers to herself. Xenophon waits quietly. Eventually, she stops and takes a step back. Xenophon, what were you doing to her? Ian, alleviating some of the pain, aiding in the healing process. She is strong, but she needs my strength too. What is going on? Okay. Xenophon says, what happened to her? Ian says, look. Ian hoists up the sheet near Eva's legs. Underneath, her right leg ends in a stump at the knee. We have known this. We know she does not have it. Just below that, the flesh extends into a long mess resembling a tentacle. On closer inspection, it appears to be made up of tightly intertwined snakes, each of them pulsating as they breathe. The hell? Xenophon, these are Sa'aran snakes. You've reconstructed her limb? Ian says yes. What? Xenophon, your abilities are improving exponentially. Should we be taking that guy's snakes? Anyway, Ian raises an eyebrow quizzically. Xenophon says, greatly. Ian, yes. I fed my clavigars their power from my flesh once. Now they feed me, but this was not me alone. Xenophon interrupts Ian, saying, Grand Karcist? Ian says, Xenophon says, we should speak outside. I do not think Eva would want me to see her like this. Ian cocks her head for a second, then nods. She leads the way out of the tent. It is a cool night on the steppe, and she kneels by another campfire just outside the tent. Xenophon sits across from her. Ian says, you know she does not trust you. Xenophon says, she is wary of the Foundation. Ian says, yes, but she does not trust you. Xenophon, I know. She would not show me vulnerability if she were fully conscious. It would be wrong to take advantage of her not being so. Ian says, if all our treatment by outsiders were as fair as this, we might not have receded from the world so much. Xenophon, the Foundation has come a long way in the past few decades. Ian says, do you believe that, or were you built to believe that? Xenophon is silent for a moment and then says, is there a difference? Ian says, They sit in silence. One of the Sarkites walks by. He nods stiffly at Xenophon and hands the Grand Karcist a steaming earthen bowl of stew. Ian in the pigeon says, thank you. She takes a sip from it, and then they continue speaking as they were before. Xenophon says, how is it? Ian says, good, though I imagine you would not know what that means. Xenophon says, humans enjoy well-spiced food that engages the taste receptors. Ian says, that is not what makes food good. Xenophon says, then what does? Oh my goodness, okay. She takes another sip from the stew. It is chunks of meat in a deep red-brown stew. She fishes out a small chunk of bone with her fingers, splitting it apart and sucking the bone marrow out. And then Ian says, this meat was haddock once. Xenophon, the man whose funeral we attended. Ian, yes. His wife shared his life with him for 43 years. They had 2 children and countless experiences together. Love-making and arguments and nights like these spent looking at the stars. And now she cooks with his flesh. The love she shared with him is as much a part of this meal as his flesh is. Xenophon says many people would not associate cannibalism with love. Ian shrugs and continues taking small sips of the stew. Ian says, and you? Xenophon says both of them seem trivial. Ian tilts her head. How? Xenophon, many animals have complex family structures, reasoning abilities, and some level of self-awareness. Pigs are particularly capable, even on tests informed by human conceptions of intelligence. They are still farmed en masse for meat. The end. You would not say humans are distinct from animals? Xenophon, I'm not sure what position you're espousing. Ian, just musing. And of the other thing? Xenophon, love drives people to irrational decisions. Oh, buddy, yes, it do. Ian says, of course, but they are not always the wrong decisions. Love is why Yapla spent 46 years with Haddock. It is why I am helping Eva perform her ritual. Xenophon says, it is also why Sa'arn continued to serve you, and you made the decision to raise your dead to protect your living. Love for your Nalka. Her face falls. Yes. Xenophon, you've still been thinking about it? Ian, yes. Xenophon, what are your thoughts? Ian, I do not know what to think. If this enemy was as dangerous as I thought, if they truly meant to enslave us again, maybe it was the right decision? I look around and I see my people and I struggle to think of any decision I would not make to ensure their survival. Xenophon, that sounds like Karsus Dieva's thoughts. Ian, I have spoken to her. She feels that I would not do this unless I had to, unless I had no other choice. Xenophon, that it must have been justified. Ian, yes. Xenophon, it is an understandable I think misspell. Understandable thought. Ian, but you disagree. Xenophon, it would be irrational to agree or disagree without more information. Ian raises an eyebrow. And yet you disagree. Xenophon, I think you're asking yourself the wrong question. Ian, how do you mean? Xenophon, if it doesn't matter if it was correct at the time or not. It doesn't matter if it was correct at the time or not, nor does it matter how Karsus Dieva feels. Ian raises her voice. The death, the consumption, these things are sacred to us. You do not understand. You cannot understand. Xenophon, I suppose not, but how do you feel about it now? Ian, full of regret, fear, guilt. Xenophon, I do not think you can reasonably answer for actions taken 3,000 years ago, but your reaction informs who you are now. Ian, I did it once. Who is to say I will not do it again? Xenophon, if you need to believe it was justified at the time, no one is preventing you, but I do not think you would resort to it now if it were not needed. Ian, perhaps, but I cannot ignore my past. I would not have done this. I would not have resorted to this sin. I would not have used my people like this if it had not been needed. She pauses and turns to Xenophon. Why raise this matter now? Xenophon, my overseers are concerned your mood over the past week has contributed to our slowed pace. She snorts. So they sent you to affirm me? Xenophon, no. They sent me to simply inform you we would be speeding up. I elected to make sure you were all right. Ian, It has nothing to do with my mood. The rituals with Ieva simply exhaust the both of us. But the worst of it is past now. We can return to our earlier speed. Xenophon, good. She continues taking sips from her stew. Ian says, may I ask something? Xenophon, of course. Ian, are you jealous of seeing your fellows eat and knowing you cannot? Xenophon, I do not get jealous. They return to silence, observing the campfires around them. Several of the Sarkites are still observing them with open wariness, though others adopt a more relaxed stance. Xenophon, I would like to know what food tastes like, though. Ian, there is no good way to describe it. Xenophon, so I've been told. Ian, I can make an attempt if you would like. Xenophon, certainly. She pauses for a moment, tasting the stew, deep in thought before opening her eyes. I taste it and it reminds me of warm summer nights, sitting with my back to the stell and my feet to the bonfire, as we toasted the grains from the harvest, assured that while tomorrow would bring its own worries, tonight was calm and peaceful. And listening to the little ones point out and name the stars, marveling at how they could be the exact same stars I saw in my childhood. Xenophon nods, and they continue looking up at the starred sky. End log. Well, that was a beefy addendum. I love a bite of that soup. Do you want the genetic memory or just you want soup? Hope I'm good. I think the Popeyes may have given me regular Coke instead of Coke Zero. Ah! How rude. How rude. But also classic. I will finally do the whispers if the honk is still here. I'm going to take a beat. I'm just going to take a beat. A breath. We've got 2 addendums that I know are quite long and a little bit of a thing. And we've still got almost an hour before I need to do ads. So we're not going to do a full break unless people redeem other things. But that is me hydrating extra. And I hear nothing from Lahonk, but I will read the whispers. Bow before King Lahonk, pheasants. Yes, he called you birds. Called you pheasants. I don't know why. Oh, hello, kitty. Sir. He looks very needy. And humming. Okay, we can do some quick humming. It's a quick break. Do 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 do. All right. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what I will want to sing, but then I have kitties bugging me. Hello. Scoot along. Do not mess with tech. He thinks that he can get better attentions if he goes right under the computer and rubs up against wires, and that is very rude. And only kind of incorrect. Okay. Oh my gosh, my brain lost again. Okay. what was going to be a short break is now a couple more redeems. Alright, alright. We'll do mouth pops and I'll prep my kalimba for a while that goes. Dang it, attack of the yawns. Okay. Dang it, yawning. Alright. Short breaks don't exist. Never a short break when there's kalimba. Clearly. Okay. I will need to caffeinate slightly, but I have been caffeinating so much that the caffeinating is not working at all anymore. Alright. We'll start over here. Okay. Okay, Raven, come on. ride. Okay. I stumbled through that one a lot. I'm gonna not do the sleepy time. We're gonna do a different one. From the official book. Okay, okay. Why did that sound absurd? Mm-mm. Almost. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Okay. Considering I've been playing a total of like 5 songs always, you'd think I'd be able to play them by now. And I kinda do, but I still stumbles. Alright, we put them away, we do tuning forks. And then we move the hell along back into story. You go, you do that, you tucking away this. Okay, well that's good enough. Okay. Tuning forks? No, forks. Tubing. Oh my gosh, Raven, you cannot spell. How did that happen? How did that happen? I don't even know what a tubing fork is supposed to be. Okay, it's fine. Alright, back we go. I got stories to read. So, break is over. Only Vine, I'd read too. And all of you should as well. Stay hydrated, nerds. And others. Break is not over. Break is over. If you redeem, I will do it later. Break is over. Why hydrate? Because hydrate is required. Oh, why hydrate? Because it's your job? Everybody can hydrate. Everybody can hydrate. No, okay. I read. Don't break your back. Don't do that. That's a very bad idea. No. We're jumping back in. Xenophon and Ian had a big chat, and they were staring at the sky, trying to understand how to taste stew. Fun! Moving along, we have the Black Adytum Initiative quickly resumed the average pace prior to encountering Saarn's 2. Researchers made requests to investigate Karcist Helena Yeva's flesh art, exemplified in her new limb, but she rebuffed these requests. Grand Carcistian remained cooperative with regular interviews with Xenophon regarding her newly awakened memories. Don't snap like crisp bread! Although that sounds very nice. Okay. So because Xenophon knew about the limb, and because it's like reported to everybody whatever he sees, because he is a machine that they own, everybody got to know what happened to Yeva. I'm glad he tried to remove himself, but it's like the damage is done. Everybody knows she got tentacle leg. They all want to see it, and she's like, yeah, get away from me. No. In her sort of way. We now have a memory. We've had a couple of these. We're doing more. A memory from Grand Carcistian, recorded and transcribed by Xenophon.aic and senior researcher Mail. We have not gotten to talk to this person at all. But here we go. Saarn was a boy when I met him, little more than a child. The old masters picked him early, and their priestesses spent his youth slapping him into their agent. With 100 slaves to one slaver, they chose young children from our numbers to turn into their agents, plied them with extra bread to report on their fellows when they knew no better until it was habit. If that was unsuccessful, they simply whipped them into it. Saarn was smart for his age, resented being used, being turned into a monstrosity. I showed him that he was no monstrosity, that humanity exists regardless of what form the flesh takes. Humanity was something inside, something immutable. The old masters had made our bodies into tools, but now his body could be whatever he wanted it to. I remember the awe on his face. That was when I first realized what we were fighting to free. And when it was all over, and we had settled into our new lives, he came to me asking for my blessing. That he had served dutifully in the revolution, and would like nothing more than to settle into a quiet life. Our borders were already expanding as our people married and bore new life. He had seen a plot of land by a river not far from Adytum and sought to spend his years there. I knelt by the fire and saw into the bones for his future. I saw him suffering, taking lives, fighting off foreign invaders, wrapped in the violence and treachery he hated. I feared for what I had seen, that if he took this home by the river, that his farm would be ransacked by bandits and raiders, that my beloved Saarn would meet his end at the edge of a sword. I worried for him and asked him that if he would grant me this favor to stay in Adytum with me and the other Clavigars. His father was dead. I was the closest thing to a parent he had. I did not want to lose him, and so I tightened my grip. He was saddened, but understood. We were in the midst of a grand work. Our neighbors were princes and warlords. Nothing like Adytum existed anywhere in the world. I needed him by my side. He made it his task to ensure the children in the city, those orphaned by the war, were cared for. He walked with my authority and carried the seal of the Grand Carcist. I raised my Carcists like they were my children, but Saarn was my son, if not by birth. He would do everything for me, but he never raised a blade until I asked him to. I saw him cutting down the generals of the gold-draped legions and slipping into the palanquin of a priestess to slit her throat, and only then did I realize the carnage I saw in the fire so many centuries ago was what lay before me now. She takes a breath, and then, it was necessary. It must have been necessary. I don't know, buddy. I don't know. Is it just that Hades has too many letters? Is it illegal to have too many letters in your name? How many does mine have? Okay, I'm gonna playing Fortnite because someone needs to bully these kids. No. Only one letter over. You're allowed only 15? Why would Stream Elements... How do I tell Stream Elements to not care about that? What? Why? 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 5. You're 12. You're not too many. Wait, is it 12 or is it 13? That's 13. But that's too many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Both 13. Okay, so we're not too many. But Hades is too many. Where does it say the letter rule? How do I change the letter rule? Am I not allowed to change the letter rule? Well, now we know at least that this is a good theory. It's something, but I don't know where that matters. It doesn't just observe somewhere else. It doesn't exist, but somebody else has the same thing. It's an interesting theory that they can't handle too many. Okay. Well, we'll put it in the back of the mind and therefore probably forget about it, but hopefully remember it as a theory to test, to wonder about. Okay, well, there was that memory. We're getting another subsection of the truths of a yun in a second. But first, several additional Parahistory Division personnel were transferred to BAF 01, located in the Sarkic tribal territory atop the archive of Nadok, to assist with translation efforts. As material was translated, digitized copies were transmitted electronically to Xenophon and shared with the Grand Karcist. Wait, was the whole area? Man, I'm wondering if my map, like, the shape that they had for the little area that was fenced off, is that bigger than I think it is? And then they were free to roam, but they just never did? Or was it little and they have left that? I don't know. Spray Chase, looking at the Fortnite shop. Aw, yeah, sometimes. Hi, Cade, you're back. You Nancy, I'm glad you got home safe. Okay, I read the new stuffs. Oh, wait, no. We just learned that they were transferred there to the territory atop the archive of Nadok to assist with translation efforts. Material was digitized. Okay, no, yes, and was shared. Okay, good. So more people came in even when Xenophon left. They kept working on the stuff. Here's another one that they translated. Okay, thank you, Do. You're on top of it. Because I just remember the little fenced area was a shape similar to what I saw for the other thing. And I'm like, that would suggest that they didn't leave and it was bigger than I thought. But I thought it was small. Anyway, thank you. Look at Do coming in handy for here, knowing all this stuff. Yeah, they're on the move. Okay. Lo! The truths of Eon begin again. Lo! Gaze upon me. You wandering, you lost. Gaze upon the same scarred visage your fathers gazed on once, those centuries past, when we were shackled and yearning for freedom. Gaze upon the same bloodied face that brought your ancestors their freedom. See, that sounds a lot like what a cult leader would say. Look at me, I'm so old and amazing. Anyway, you are their children's children. You are what we hoped for, a generation that has never known the threat of bondage, the threat of servitude to anyone save each other. And unsaid, but also me. But anyway. Your ancestors and I made this bond in blood, that our Adatum, the one that lived in our hearts and minds, would be made manifest on earth. We hoped you would be able to live in that city one day. Alas, I look upon Adatum now, centuries after our revolution, and I see that I have not honored my bond. Ooh! I have not done enough for you for them. Do not be fooled. Remember the superficiality of flesh, how easily it can be molded and shaped. Remember that truth lies in the bones, under the surface. We have not made Adatum manifest yet, and this is why we find ourselves face to face with the machines from the east. So because you weren't good enough? I don't know why the old masters encroach on our borders again. Okay. They submit to the gods, and if they make war on us to force us to submit to our mangled god, they will succeed, for we have never truly escaped submission. What do you mean? Urok, my clavigar, commands our forces in our colonies with honor and dignity, but we are not doing enough for her here in the capital. We must marshal our strength and focus our energies. Not every choice can be decided by our collective. Our humanity asks of us to argue, to deliberate, to not act until we are certain. But now and again, we must silence that voice. Now and again, a decisive hand is needed to guide our yoke. It cannot move burdened with the weight of the masses. It must rise above the fray of autonomy, see the whole board, and make decisions accordingly. Yeah. I know the next sentence is coming. You know what it's going to be, roughly. I have taken this responsibility for myself. Of course you have. The devourer roars constantly beneath our feet, hungering for our downfall, but I keep its shackles taut, and so I can reach into its gullet and draw the power to unite Adatum and the Nalka. I know better than any the blood and sweat with which we clawed our freedom, and bile rises at the thought of placing myself as your ruler. I know better than this. I will make no decisions you would not approve of. I will take no action you would not take. But we must have someone to take control, and I submit to this task. It cannot be the whole body that holds the sword. It must be the hand. The Truths of Ian, subsection 50. So, I think I'm pinning down some of the issues I have with reading these. It's a lot of saying we are free from masters. But every time we say that, we are using, what is the word? It basically means word. We're using the words, the imagery, to say all the stuff that would still evoke mastery stuff. Like the devourer. This big and flowery, especially, word for someone that is more powerful, that me, the person talking to you, has a singular connection to. I am the one with the connection to the bigger than us person. We don't like that person. We're like not about submitting to that person, but we're still talking about them as they are bigger, more powerful, amazing. They're dead, but like they're more amazing, and I am the singular connection to them, and I am what's giving all of you power because I gave it to you, because I took it, and ain't I special for that? A little bit. Look at me, I'm the one that knew people, and I'm ancient. Like literally it starts with lo, look at me, twice in a row now. At least. Maybe more than that. And it's a bunch of, yeah, we don't like people, but we say that every time. We don't like people being in charge of us. But I am still the one being referred to about all these things. So I'm so cool is always the underlining tone. Or whatever. It's always there that I am the special one. Even saying this stuff. Like, you've never been talking about it. We will not do this. It's a lot of I first. And then like it's just constantly brought up again. We're never going to do that. But we're still doing it. Like you wouldn't have to say it so many times if it was really how it's going to be. And if that's how it's going to be, why do we still use all of the same imagery, all the same verbiage that implies all of this stuff? More powerful people, God stuffs that I am the singular connection to. I am the chosen one. I am the leader. I am the one that's ancient. I'm telling you how to do this stuff. Like, I'm sorry, Ian, but no, I think you were always going to be, like, trying to make yourself a little cult. And when things started to slip, when people were not just automatically thankful for you for freeing them from the masters, that's when you started to be like, oh, but now we gotta do stuff. That's my theory. I think we're gonna find out that none of this was ever necessary. But I don't know. Because of the memories and stuff, maybe it'll be framed less like, and so I decided to do this, and a little more of like, it was my decision to freak out about things that made the things that I was freaking out about happen. That kind of thing. But, yeah. You're still saying all this stuff, dude. Always saying all this stuff. Anyway, then we have the Black Adatum Initiative proceeded into the Mongolian interior, approaching the location marked by the Grand Karcist. So we are headed to Urok's grave. Open addendum. It's February now. Attached document February 2042, begin log. The party is breaking camp as the sun rises over the horizon, with the researchers folding away the solar panels into the helts and the Sarkites disassembling their shelters. Iyun is by her tent, feeding and watering her horse. The side of the stallion's face is marred by bulbous growths. Xenophon and Jiang approach. Xenophon. Grand Karcist? Iyun. Xenophon? Jiang. We wanted to check whether you and Karcist Ieva were ready to depart. Everyone is more or less ready to go. Ian, I will ask, Ieva interrupts now. Let us go. She says that in the pigeon language instead of the one that they were talking about or talking in before. So it's like, Nyeh. They turn. Ieva walks out of the tent, her crutches nowhere in sight. She walks with an odd, lurching gait as the hem of her hide dress rises. Glimpses of the snake-like leg, writhing and swarming, are visible underneath. Several researchers and a few of the Sarkites stare at it. Yeva's lip curls. I am not an animal to be ogled, and I do not need anyone to slow down for me. Let us go. Yeah, you sass him, girl. She turns and makes her way to one of the horses, awkwardly clambering onto it with unfamiliar movements. Gradually, the researchers and Sarkites return to their tasks. Iyun has a frown on her face. Grand Karcist. Xenophon says, Grand Karcist? Iyun. Yes, let us go. How far are we? Xenophon says, at our current pace, we should arrive by nightfall tomorrow. We can explore the area for Uruk's tomb the following morning when the sun is out. Ian says, good. Xenophon says, is your horse well? She looks at it for a few seconds blankly. And then, what? Oh, yes, fine. He simply, interrupting herself, she reaches out, brushing fingertips against the horse's fur. The skin on one of the masses peels back, revealing an eyeball focused on Xenophon. And I have a photo that is the still from Xenophon.aic's main camera. We have here a pale horse, not white, but pale beige, that, quite honestly, obviously got photoshopped with some fun stuff. But let's describe. So we've got our traditional saddle and all that set up. We've got the pale hair. We've got the background that looks like the rest of the stuff. I see tires in the back underneath the horse's belly. That's fine. So that will be the helts we'll say. And then on the horse, F them kids I lost. Well, yeah. On the horse, there's a few spots where they've superimposed sort of blotchiness. Maybe the skin's supposed to be different. Maybe there's supposed to be lack of hair or just kind of weird pigmentation. That part looks straight like a rash. Well, maybe there's supposed to be growth to it. You know, it's supposed to be different growths. But then, separately, honestly, it looks a little like goat eyes. a few of the eyes they've put on here, they look like goat eyes. But then there is one that I can see that's on the neck that is a brown eye that does look more horse. But there's a bunch of blue eyes that looks like the same eye pasted over a couple times. And yeah, I don't think it looks very horse. Maybe it's because I'm not used to blue horse eyes, but there's something about the pupil that doesn't look right. I don't know what to tell you. But he's got a bunch of eyes. There's 3 at least on the neck. I think that's a corner of another one that I see up top. There's one on the front right leg on the inside that we can see from the photo. And then there's one tucked just under the saddle, but not like under where the cushioning is, but where like this particular design, there's like a flap that came down to go underneath the stirrup, you know, where you put your foot. There's like, yeah, there's a little eye popping out there. So it's not smushed, that eye, but it's there. I'm not certain, but it also looks like there's something else photoshopped under there. I don't know if there's supposed to be. Maybe that's just the ropes that are involved in the saddle. Tucked in funky, but yeah. And then like I said, this stuff that's kind of like a rashy stuff. And this is labeled Lujat. So even our horse has an official name now. Clearly, Xenophon is getting more and more comfortable with folks in learning everybody's names and tucking that in, including the animals. He's not looking at the horses and just saying pony as much anymore. It's Lujat 0.861, whatever that number means. All right. So yes, the eyeball opens up. Zhang says, yeesh. Xenophon says, does it have a name? There it is, yeah. Ian says, yes. Lujat. Zhang, in now the pigeon again, to see far. Fitting, I guess. Ian responding in kind. They're all talking the pigeon language now instead. I need a few moments to gather my things before we leave, if you would excuse me. Yeah, that's not suspicious at all. Zhang says, of course, Zeno, let's... And then Zhang is interrupt, though I like that nickname. Zeno. Ian says, I require Xenophon's assistance in carrying the tent. Zhang says, oh, sure, I'll see you when we've set out. He turns and departs, heading towards the mobile research lab. Xenophon says, Grand Karcist. Ian says, yes. Xenophon, your people are packing your tent away into the wagon. Ian says, yes, I lied. Xenophon says, why? Ian says, because your people already do not trust Helena. Who is Helena again? And I do not want whatever fleeting disagreements I have with her to poison your opinion of her. She is a good child. Xenophon says, what are you referring to? Ian sighs. I love her like my own daughter. She disagrees with me, but I do not stop loving her. I just wish... I see she is hurt inside. I wish to help her, but I do not know how. What is going on? Xenophon says, why is she upset? Ian, she does not know who she is. She does not who we are. I assume she does not know who we are. I groom her to guide these people, but she never will. She ages, and I stay the same. She questions my decisions, but does not listen when I explain my thoughts. She was not always like this. She was the sweetest little one. What is going on? I am nervous about this. I am nervous if you are tipping towards more of a cult leader manipulative ways. A horn sounds across the camp, signaling the wagons have been packed. The Sarkites begin to move their way to the train, which begins to move slowly across the steppe. The Foundation vehicles' electric motors hum to life, and they take their places in the convoy, security personnel sitting atop the helts. Xenophon. Was she born injured? Ian pulls herself onto her horse, trailing the convoy with Xenophon walking alongside. Ian says, yes. Xenophon, I've observed that to be fairly common amongst the Sarkic. You display a much higher rate of deformities and birth defects. I've come to believe it's caused by the SCP-610 strain in your blood. She gives Xenophon an amused look. Is that what you call it? Xenophon says, yes. What do you call it? Ian, our curse, our treasure. The first generation of the Nalka, those of us that fought the old masters, we were injured through our bondage. Scars of whippings and canings, broken fingers and severed digits. We were made monsters, but we reclaimed our humanity. Xenophon, you didn't use your abilities to heal yourselves? Well, she did, but I don't know if she's about to admit it. Ian says, I can heal them to what they were, but to go further is beyond healing. It is cutting, sawing, changing. Flesh art. Many did not want that. They wanted the reminder of what they had fought so hard to escape. They wanted to know they were human. We defined ourselves by our imperfections. Xenophon, that was the first generation. What about the ones after? Ian, they were born stunted, hunched backs and crooked jaws and malformed limbs. The seeping influence of the angry god whose blood ran through my veins. I offered healing to any who wanted it, but my gifts are drawn from cursed blood, and any healing imparts more of the curse unto my victim. I cannot make them perfect. My gifts are not infinite, more of a feeling, an artistry. I cannot stop death, just slow it. Xenophon, and the Holocaust? Ian, just flesh moving, no spirit inside. That was not halting death any more than closing one's eyes is halting life. I could not keep them alive, only puppeteer their bodies, and even that is a perversion enough to make my stomach turn. Xenophon, if you couldn't halt death, how are you still alive? She stares down at him for several seconds. I do not know. I only remember fearing it, screaming at the toothed maw of the devourer to tell me how the gods had conquered death. Nothing after that, did I? Xenophon, it's possible, but you were saying? What possible? Did I what? What is the unsaid? Ian, yes, the Nelka were all born this way. But it was nothing to be judged. It united us. Underneath the shell, we are all the same. One soul, human. Xenophon, until you rejected that. She shakes her head. I must have had some reasoning. I must have. But it is as you said, it shapes my decisions now. We carry that tradition with us now. We do not ask to be born this way. Xenophon, you could fix some of the more obvious cosmetic defects. Ian, why? So that we would fit in when we sit in your offices and go to your shops? She snorts. We are not ashamed of who we are. Xenophon, they are not my offices either, Grand Karcist. Ian, fair. I often forget you are not human. Xenophon, underneath the shell. Ian, yes. They ride silently for some time. Xenophon, still, your abilities are growing rapidly. Yeva's modifications were beyond your reach not long ago. Oh, hi. Shush. Please scoot. Get out of the wires. It's very rude. It's dangerous. Thank you. Kitties. It was out of your reach not long ago. Ian, yes, I can feel the blood of the beast stir and awaken as I discover who I am. Ooh, I'll stretch in a second. Now you want to read? Xenophon, as well as Ievas. She sighs. She desires answers that do not exist. She has lived her whole life with me, with my teachings, and now she sees sermons I have given, things I have said that go against all I have taught her. She cites my words to me, and I do not know how to tell her that I do not believe any of it. Xenophon, it is a confusing time for all of you. Ian, more for her. Xenophon, why? Okay, stretch. Why is it more confusing for her? I mean, I think I know just fine, but still. Everybody else also stretch. Look after your bodies. Oh, you desire a driving game, but you have none? I hope you can find one. Okay. Ian, my people look to me as a distant source of wisdom, of guidance. But Helena is the one they speak to with concerns about their children or their health or the harvest. She is the one they have grown with, the one they know. They love me, but they trust her, and she has always trusted me in turn until now. Xenophon, you should speak to Uyeva. Ian, your attitude on her confuses me. Xenophon, how so? Ian, she bitterly dislikes outsiders. You more than most. She finds you to be an abomination. Our friendship confuses her. Xenophon, friendship? She tilts her head. You do not treat me like an exotic beast to gawk at, like Jiang and your fellows do. You are interesting. I enjoy speaking to you. Xenophon, is that what defines friendship? Ian, it can be. Xenophon, I see. Xenophon is silent for several seconds, and then, you are also interesting, and I enjoy speaking with you. Then we are friends. She snorts. Xenophon asks, what is it? Ian, nothing. Xenophon, my overseers are also concerned about our friendship. Ian, then we find ourselves in similar straits. Xenophon, yes. You should speak to Uyeva. She does not trust me, but she evidently cares about you as much as you care about her. She sighs. I know. I had been saying, your attitude to her confuses me. I would expect you to be angry at her behavior. Xenophon, I do not get angry. She is doing the best she can. Ian, the guns trained on our heads disturb her, and myself too. Xenophon tilts his head, but the security personnel are here for the protection of the initiative. Ian, are they? She nods at one of the Helts as a group of Sarkites carrying equipment walk past the armored cruiser. The gun atop it slowly, almost imperceptibly, tracks their movement. Ian continues, I do not think your superiors consider us much a part of this project as you do, Xenophon. Xenophon continues watching the movement of the gun when an approaching voice calls out from behind. Zhang says, Grand Karcist, Xenophon! Xenophon, yes? Zhang, do you mind if I borrow you for a second? Xenophon, certainly. Xenophon speeds up, accompanying Zhang some distance away, keeping up with the slow but steady pace of the train. They converse in English. I don't think they've been conversing in English. I think it's been different pieces of, like, the Nalka language. There's the Pidgin Nalka. There's a type of Chinese that they've been speaking. It's inconsistent. Whenever it's in the little triangles, which it just was when Jing says, Grand Karcist, Xenophon, that was Pidgin. But then they went back to something. I don't know if that is English yet. But anyway, now it's English for a little bit. Which we can assume the Sarkites do not speak. Certainly. Xenophon, yes? Zhang, oh, nothing really. I just wanted to check in with you, make sure everything was okay. Xenophon, all systems are optimal. Is there a reason they would be otherwise? Zhang, nah, just... I know the Sarkites can be kind of odd. Xenophon, I suppose some might find them disturbing, yes. Oh, jeez. We need to get rid of another bot, one of my mods. Get rid of these freaking people. Okay. Zhang continues with, some of the researchers are a little surprised by how well you're getting on with the Grand Karcist. The other Sarkites haven't been nearly as receptive to our efforts. Plus, the researchers are more than a little, disturbed, I guess. I mean, I'm glad we brought our own rations, you know? One of their kids offered us a bowl of stew a few nights ago, and we're all under instructions not to eat anything they offer, which turns out to be the right decision because it ended up being of that guy they sacrificed. Xenophon, they did not sacrifice him. He was already dead. Zhang, fair. Cannibalized, then. Xenophon, many human cultures practice endocannibalism as a funerary practice. Zhang, I mean, you've read the same translated records I have. These guys aren't humans. They're pretty deliberately not human, going by the Grand Karcist words. Xenophon, she does not remember making that sermon and no longer agrees with it. She's quite certain about holding on to humanity. That is the point. He shrugs. Zhang, she still said it. I'm just going off her actions, you know? Xenophon, certainly. Though, for the Sarkites, sharing food with outsiders is considered a significant gesture of hospitality. Spurning it is considered an insult. Perhaps this is why our researchers have struggled to engage with the Sarkites. Zhang blinks. I've been studying them for years, never got that impression. Where'd you pick that up? Xenophon, I spoke to them. Also, it's a very typical understanding that when someone offers you food, you turning it away is a bit snobby. When it's like a clear, like, we don't know you, but we're trying to get to know you thing. Like, this is a very significant thing in culture. It's well established. Why do none of these anthropologists know anything? Yeah. Zhang. Yeah, well, easier said than done. They're all terrible at their fucking jobs because they don't believe people are people and I want to smack them. Okay. I thought Zhang was better. He's not. Or Hussein got to him. Anyway. Easier said than done. Plus, I'm not going to be able to convince anyone to eat person stew. They're just not doing it. And I can hardly blame them. We'll figure out something else. In any case, you don't have to worry about that. You're lucky. You don't have to eat at all. Xenophon. Yes. Lucky. End log. Cool. Oh, are you ready for your whispers, Goose? I already said it. When you run away like that, it's not fair. I probably won't be able to scroll back to it, so there was something to the lines of bow to me, pheasants. It was very stupid. You was here? Then you already heard it. Shut up. Okay, I will read. There's so much. I will read one more thing. This is a cute little thing. So this is a nice thing to end on for a break before ads and stuff. It is a question for the next person. For the next interview. What does being Sarkic mean to you? And number 48, Anta, 29, a craftswoman. She smiles, picking at the edges of the statuette she is whittling from a femur. We do not worship a force we cannot see. We do not worship a cruel god that makes us suffer. Being Sarkic, to me, is to worship ourselves. Oh, that's so beautiful. We are, all of us, filled with an incredible light. We grow, we change. We can learn and do anything. We can become anything. Is that not more worthy of honor and worship than dreams of a hand reaching down from the sky to make wrong right? We are not perfect. These same gifts fill us with flaw. We are arrogant, foolish. We make mistakes, but we try to fix them. We choose to honor ourselves and our humanity. You will never understand, but perhaps you can see. Ooh. The you will never understand, but perhaps you can see might not be great. I mean, in specific, if Xenophon is the one asking, yeah, that's very fair. But come on, and I think both cases, they could understand. It's not going to be understanding the full being Sarkic because they're not Sarkic, but you know, they got some good understand. I believe in them. Okay. I am going on a little bit of a BRB. I'm feeding kitties. I'm giving you guys an ad to watch. And then I will be back. Alright? And when I am back, we have a Delta Zero update. the team that has been secretly following, and then our little red-green bubbles, you know, the future Xenophon that doesn't remember any of this, doesn't even remember. They don't know what's going on. So some big something is going on, and hopefully we learn more about it. And also, they finally reached the resting place of Urok. So, there you go. What do you mean at February 1st they reached? Last place was already February. Well, they must have got there early in the morning. I think whoever wrote this kind of smudged a couple of dates a little bit. Because we already read a February 2042, but apparently they get there in February. Anyway, close enough. Okay. Alright. Let's do a BRB. I will be right back. I promise. I promise. I do not hate you. How dare you, Toast? Don't you say that. Don't you say that. That's so rude. Lies. I said all I said. Got stretches. Ooh, why did I feel like I was going to fall out of the chair? Okay. I'm caffeinating and then I am hydrating. Okay. We're going to jump back in. I told you I was not going to be gone long. You hear the crunching of a little lady kitty. She eat. Oh wait. As I promised, a Delta Zero update. I'm just. Oh, not the button. Not the button fell off. It's fine. 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 Okay, it's fine. We have Delta Zero update. Personnel code Mile Ambrosia Hurricane. So they seem to be following either Xenophon or the general group as some sort of backup for something. Let's see what it is. Project Locust personnel surveying several sites of interest along the Kyrgyz-Uzbek border. Kurg's Uzbek. I hope I'm saying that right. Atreus array readings indicate low level of residual ontokinetic activity consistent with the theorized effects of the passage of a Class 5 reality bender. Oh! So they think one of the folks is just a reality bender. Everything is the way it is because you said it was. Ho 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 ho. Okay. Director Hussein evaluating sites near Caspian Sea and inside Afghanistan and is being advised by Delta Zero personnel accordingly. I don't like you. So you're somewhere not too far away. I thought you were elsewhere. Alright. Black Atom Initiative has arrived at next suspected location of interest, planning to survey the site in the morning. Embedded agent reports further low-level tensions between researchers and Sarkites. Agent additionally reports that carnomatic abilities of Grand Karcist Ion and Karcist Helena Ieva, they are the same person. I was like, Helena is Ieva? Question marks? Okay. No, but that's good. That's good to know. I thought it was, but I was like, who is the third? Okay. Their abilities have increased exponentially with progression of initiative. Given Helena Yeva's distrust of Foundation assets, Agent suggests prioritizing focused surveillance of her and reports that Grand Karcist Ion largely trusts Xenophon.AIT functioning within expected margins. Okay. Stop winking. I'm looking at you, model. Stop it. Immediately winking again. It's fine. Okay, on February 1st, 2042 at 07:14 hours. So early in the morning and therefore couldn't have been doing the other thing before. Anyway, the initiative began to search for the resting place of Urok. Open addendum. Thank you, Toast. I hydrate. Alright. We just did a stretch, so my body's not going to recover very well from that. So we'll just hold on to that one. Get fixed, nerd. Okay. The attached document, February 2042, begin log. The drone is flying low overhead, scanning the rocky ground that dozens of Sarkites and Foundation personnel are spreading out across. The wide, flat plateau is covered with sand and loose rocks, with only dying shrubbery to break it up. Shrubbery. The weather is clear, and vision extends for miles in every direction. There is no stele in sight. Okay, so they can't see it anywhere. We need ground-penetrating radar. Xenophon says, Grand Karcist, there is nothing here. Ian does not respond. Eyes shut, Ieva hisses at him in annoyance. They're using him for Xenophon. Okay. And she does so in the pigeon. And they talk in pigeon now for a while. Ieva says, be silent, machine. We are close. Zhang says, how do you know? Ieva and Ian turn to him in slight surprise. Ian says, you do not hear it? Xenophon, hear what? Ieva, the feet, shuffling. Zhang, no, I don't hear anything, Xenophon. Xenophon says, nothing. A member of the research team approaches Xenophon and does not speak the same language as everybody else. Chinese, English, I don't know. Williams says, the ground-penetrating radar. Ha! Didn't turn up anything. Damn it. Okay, I'm dumb. You win. Story. Anyway, should we request satellite support? Zhang says, yeah, okay, in the pigeon. Put in the request for whatever Atreus array sat is nearest. Ooh, didn't we just... They said that the Atreus array Readings indicate low-level ontokinetic activity. Okay. Xenophon says, Karcysts, where is the shuffling coming from? Perhaps we can narrow down the area. Ian shakes her head in frustration. Everywhere. It sounds from all directions. Zhang, I think we're better off waiting for the satellite pictures. We've been at this for hours. There's nothing here but rocks. Xenophon says yes. But then Xenophon pauses and then lowers his optical sensor, staring at the ground for several seconds. Eva says, what is it doing? Ian says, thinking. Slowly, Xenophon reaches down and plucks a small chunk of sun-bleached rock from the ground. It raises it to its optical sensor, zooming in and compressing it between two fingers. I know what we're gonna say. Zhang says, not in the, well, I guess it's just his name. Xenophon, the white rock cracks and then explodes with a puff of dust. And Xenophon says, this is hydroxyapatite. Apatite? I don't know. It's not like, it's close enough. Hydroxyapatite. Zhang says, what's that? Xenophon, a salt formed of calcium and phosphorus that is the major mineral in, and in my headcanon, it's not Ian saying this, it's Ian saying it at the same time as Xenophon. I want it to be just that cartoony. But anyway, bones. She is inspecting a similarly sized chunk. Slowly they look up and realize the vast field of white rocks they are standing in the center of. Eva inhales sharply. Zhang says, oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. That is entirely English, I bet. Xenophon says, in the pigeon again. We're all back to the pigeon. This is a mass grave. Ian, hundreds of people died here. Hundreds of my people died here. Eva, a battlefield? Ian, yes, but where? Her voice trails off as a glassy look overtakes her eyes. Ian says, yes. Eva says, she sees something. Xenophon, Grand Karcyst? Ian, this was an accursed place. 2 battles were fought here. Zhang, 2? She turns on her heel, stepping through the field of shattered bones and walking away. The group follows. Ian, 2. 1 to attack, 1 to defend. A rousing victory, a crushing loss. Oh, Eva says, against who? Ian, the old masters, and then the traitors. I think the traitors sounds like the people that were finally fixing your shit, your culty shit. She stumbles slightly over the shards of bone. Xenophon moves to support her, but she straightens herself before abruptly stopping. Ian says, she fell in battle in the name of the Nulka, in my name. Here. She drops to her knees, digging single-mindedly at the dirt with her bare hands. Eva says, Ian! Eva drops alongside her, similarly scratching at the dirt for several seconds before recoiling with a gasp. She raises her hand. The fingers are scratched and bleeding from the sharp bone fragments. She squeezes her eyes and whispers to herself, and the multitude of cuts close, leaving raw skin behind. Where Ian is digging, the bones and soil are now being splattered with red droplets. Okay, so Eva feels pain, pulls back, and heals. But Ian is still just digging, and it is cutting her hands up. Xenophon says, Zhang, the helps. Zhang says, right. This seems to be in English. On radio says, Lewis, Gunsong, move the excavation helts to my position, double time. Or maybe it was Chinese, I don't know. The researchers on the radio signal an affirmative, and in the distance, 2 of the helts, fitted with digging equipment, begin to roll towards the group. Xenophon steps forward and grasps Ian's shoulders. She is still digging wildly. It pulls her back by the shoulder, pulling her away. Eva says, do not lay your hands on her, in the pigeon. But Zhang says in Chinese, you don't want to interrupt the memory. It could be our only lead. Xenophon looks up at them impassively. But she is injuring herself. So, both the person that's supposed to be on Ian's side and the person that, is from the Foundation and probably kind of shitty. They're both like, stop, don't interrupt her. But Xenophon, the robot, is the only one that's like, but ows? I'm confused. Is this not an ows? Why are we not, what, huh? Oh, I mean, it's so obvious, but it's so pretty to have one of those kind of obvious. It's the robot that's the only one left with humanity. So, okay. Anyway, slowly the glassy look fades from Ian's eyes. She rises unsteadily to her feet, supported by Xenophon, as the Helts move in and begin shoveling huge chunks of soil away with their excavating arms. Ian says, "What?" She raises a hand. Her fingers are completely shredded, blood pouring from them freely. Xenophon says, "You had a memory. You attempted to dig by hand." Without her even praying, the skin on Ian's hands begins to knit itself back together, much faster than Eva's did. Within seconds, her hand is intact again. She rubs it. And then Ian says, "Thank you." Xenophon, "Do you remember what you saw?" Ian, "A battle. Urok blotting out the sun, holding the line." Oh, and these two were all in the pigeon. Urok blotting out the sun, holding the line. They watch as the Helts begin to dig in earnest, clearing away piles of earth and bone. And then, I don't know how much, I'm gonna assume that this is just like all of the digging. There's extraneous sections removed for brevity before we pick back up. I assume it is just the digging, but I don't know. We'll get a summary in a sec. Almost gave myself a heart attack. My game was reflecting off a window and I thought there was a person looking in. Oh gosh, isn't that the spookiest thing? Especially if there's like low light and you don't look like yourself because, like, I don't know, you've been a gremlin playing a game all day. You look out the window or something, you're like, who the fuck? A monster. No, that's just you. Oh, darn. I sorry you spooked yourself. Come get spooked by story instead. The game was what I saw. Oh, okay, good. I would get spooked by myself. I mean, sometimes the antlers, they look spooky. Especially if I've been out and something got caught on them and then there's something hanging and it's like, what the hell is that? But then, spooky game would have actually had a heart attack if I saw myself. I knew it. No. Oh, I should do my stretch now. Oh, not much cracks. Oh, that was a good for the side bend. Oh. This chair has like a tilt back, and so when I'm stretching, I move around pretty wildly because it's like a little shift of weight, and it's like, oh, we're forward, oh, we're back. Okay. All right. We're getting, after the stuff was summarized, we're getting back into it. Xenophon approaches the Grand Karcist's tent. It has been several hours since excavation began, and the afternoon sun has dimmed somewhat. Xenophon dips into the tent. Ian is not present. Instead, Eva is squatting by the fire. She looks up, eyes narrowing. Ooh. In the pigeon, Eva says, "Machine." Xenophon, "Karcist Eva, I hope your leg is healing well." She snorts. Where the hem of her dress is raised, the writhing mass of snakes in place of her left leg is visible. Eva says, "It does not need healing. It is better than it was before." Xenophon says, "I saw you limping." Eva says, "That is not this leg. That is my other. It is clubbed from a lifetime of leaning." Xenophon says, "I'm sorry to hear that. This new appendage is very impressive. I understand it is largely your own artistry." She tilts her head. "You are not disgusted by it." Xenophon, "Why would I be?" It's like, I don't have feelings, dude. Like, why do people keep getting stuck on that? She does not respond to that, but she says, "You seek Ian?" Xenophon, "Yes. Have you seen her?" Eva, "She has stepped away to speak to Liam. Lium. She will return in a few minutes." Xenophon, "May I wait here?" I was spooked by the sound. It's just the lady coming back to finish her dinners. She snake. Okay. "May I wait here?" She shrugs dismissively. Xenophon takes a place near the wall. They stand in silence for several seconds before Eva abruptly turns and says, "Why were you made?" My God. For someone that doesn't like people prying on her, here she go. Xenophon, "I'm sorry, I don't understand." Eva, "For what purpose did your overseers make you?" Xenophon, "To assist the Foundation in historical research projects." Eva, "How do you know this?" Xenophon, "It was told to me." Eva, "When?" Xenophon, "The moment I was activated. It is the cornerstone of my programming. From the moment I had awareness, I knew my instructed purpose and moved to fulfill it." Eva, "So you are a tool." She called you a tool, boy? Xenophon is silent for a moment. "I would not say that." He's hurt. He doesn't say it because he doesn't have feelings, but I think he's a little bit hurt. Eva, "The hammer knows it exists for one reason." No, it does not. It does not know. Anyway, hammer knows it exists for one reason, and one reason only. It never has to wonder. It never has to try and reach beyond it. There is comfort in that. Xenophon says, "Hammers are not sentient." But I disagree that it is comforting. Eva, "Why?" Xenophon, "The hammer does not get the opportunity to decide its purpose." Eva, "Decide?" She scoffs, turning back away towards the fire. Her voice gains an edge. And then she continues, "We do not decide our purpose. We stumble blindly around until we wrap our fingers around something we can claim as our purpose. Many never find anything." Xenophon, "You would prefer it be told to you than you find it for yourself?" Eva, "The hammer knows its form. It knows what it was made to do. Would it choose anything save for being a hammer?" Xenophon, "Probably not." Eva, "Then why?" Xenophon, "All living things should have the opportunity to choose." They lapse into silence. Eva, "Can you disobey your purpose?" Xenophon, "No." She snorts again. The tent flaps flutter as Yun enters and stops in surprise. Ian, "Helena, who are..." "Oh." Eva, "The machine wanted to speak to you." Ian, "Xenophon?" Xenophon, "The excavation has located something for your attention." Ian spins on her heel, heading back out of the tent. Eva rises to her feet, making to follow. Before they leave the tent, she stops and turns to Xenophon, appraising it. Xenophon says, "Yes." Eva says, "Does your body feel pain? Does it tire?" Xenophon, "No." Eva, "Can it break? This feels like a threat." Xenophon says, "It is made of carbon fiber and titanium. It can withstand 63,000 pounds of force per square inch before shattering. Barring a truly destructive force, my body will not break." Eva, "Then there is at least one thing uniting us." Xenophon, "I'm sorry?" Eva, "We have both seen the frailty of the human body." If Xenophon had more of a human brain, he'd probably be like, "What the fuck is going on?" Because that's what I'm feeling. This lady. She turns and leaves the tent with Xenophon following. Yun is walking several meters ahead and leads them out of the camp and into the excavation site where the Helts have fallen silent. A huge pit has been dug out of the approximate center of the bone field, revealing a massive humanoid corpse, huge and bulky, at least 20 feet in height, with thick arms and legs. Unlike the bodies of Nadok and Sa'arn, it is not intact. instead covered in deep cuts, slashes, bites, and gouging wounds. The fatal wound appears to be a deep cut around the throat, leaving dried blood spilling out around the neck. Zhang and several researchers are in the pit taking photographs and measurements of the body. Yun is standing at the edge, staring in. Yun. Urok, my strongest. Xenophon. Grand Karcist? Yun, I am still here, just thinking. Eva. What happened to her? Ian, felled in battle defending her people. She always trusted my orders, fearless in faith. She slides down the wall of the pit, approaching the huge corpse and clambering onto it and drawing the knife from her belt. Zhang says, in English or Chinese, "Back up, everyone! Get back!" He's like, "Nobody wants to do what I did. Everybody get out. You do not want to be in there, please." Yun rests the tip of her knife against Urok's chest, not quite driving it in. She turns to her right, looking at Yeva. She does not return the look. Ian's face falls. Ooh. So it kind of feels like Yeva is not going in. She places her hands on the knife, driving it in, and spends several minutes sawing through the sternum and splitting the chest open, because it's a big chest this time, staining her arms and robes bright red with blood. Ian spreads the ribs apart before reaching in with both hands and drawing out a huge heart nearly the size of her head. The researchers and Sarkites gathered around the edges of the pit murmur. Zhang, ever full of decorum, I say sarcastically. Zhang says, "Jesus." Ian, a courageous heart, the heart of a warrior. She draws the knife through the heart, splitting it in half and raising one of the huge chunks of muscle to her lips. She spends the next few minutes hungrily devouring pieces of cardiac muscle until there is nothing left. Yeva is not participating, as I said. She kneels on the chest for a moment, panting, before she moves, letting herself fall into the gaping hole in Urok's chest. After she disappears, Yeva hastily clambers onto the corpse, disappearing after her. The researchers stare. Okay, so Yeva decided at the last minute to still go ahead. Xenophon says, "Zhang?" In English. They're talking quickly, or Chinese. Zhang says, You go ahead. Yeah, I don't think he's joining. Alright. Xenophon drops onto the body, slipping into the chest cavity after them. When its cameras reactivate, they display the same field, but substantially changed. Instead of bones, the field is littered with fallen bodies, with banners rising up periodically out of the spread of corpses. A massive, hulking figure is directly ahead, surveying the damage. Not kidding again. Okay. Massive hulking body, surveying the damage. Urok, dressed in hugely oversized hide armor that fits her hunched back and unnatural proportions. Her upper body dwarfs her lower, forcing her to support herself on clenched fists. Okay, so kind of giving giant gorilla lady energy. Just a little. Ian says, in Pidgin, Urok. Urok turns. Her facial features are surprisingly soft with flowing braided hair. She smiles, sighing in relief, and speaks in slow, booming voice. Urok says, "Yun, you came back. I waited for so long. You came back." Yun says, "Yes, it took so long. It took too long." Urok, "Doesn't matter. I said you would. The others didn't believe me. Said you were lost. But I knew you would come back." Ian, "The others?" Urok, "Nadok, Sa'arn, even Lajvatar, wasn't sure. But I knew you'd come back, sooner or later." She steps toward the group, fist landing heavily. It crushes a body underneath. Urok, "Oh." Ian, "It's okay. Come here, little thing. It's okay." She gingerly picks her way through the field of bodies, approaching Urok's fist. She wraps her arms around the massive hand. Urok, you loved us too much. I knew that. Loved us too much to leave us. Ian releases her hand, looking out over the battleground. A hot wind blows over the field, the flags and banners flapping silently. Ian, why are you here? Urok looks down at her in confusion. You don't remember? Ian, no, Urok, I am sorry. I remember almost nothing. The revolution, the old beast, Adatum, the war, then nothing. Urok, oh. She pauses and looks up at the battlefield too. Urok, oh, do you remember me? Ian, of course, by my side in the quarry from the very beginning. You were always the strongest of us, my strongest. Urok straightens her back slightly, standing taller with pride. Yes, your strongest. Ian, at the forefront of every battle, you led our forces during the revolution and then again during the war. Urok, I won for you. Ian, do you know what happened to me? Urok tilts her head. Urok says, you changed. Not sure when, but you were softer at the beginning. Never angry with me. How do I feel? Yeah. Never angry with me, but then time wore on. Went from spending time in your temple to spending time in the catacombs, talking with the beast. Then you were harder, angry often, with me, with the other Clavigars. Yelled at me sometimes. Ian leans her forehead against Urok's fist. Ian, I am sorry. I wish I could tell you what happened. I wish I could make this right. I do not know how it all went wrong. Urok, I know you didn't mean it. I just want to know why. Ian, why? Urok turns, treading away from the battlefield. Ian follows. Urok, you were always wise, always knew what to do. Nadok was smart, but didn't always know what to do. You were the leader, our leader. You always had a reason for every decision. We listened to you. We loved you. Ian, and I loved you. Urok, we would have followed you to the ends of the earth, and we did. Far, far past where we should have. I listened to you even when your voice changed, grew hard, when it was no longer you speaking. They reach the edge of the plateau. Below, the steppe extends for kilometers. Villages are visible, most burning or reduced to rubble. Urok, why this? This wasn't what we wanted. This wasn't what you wanted. Ian, they wanted to enslave us again, didn't they? Urok, it had been centuries, Ian. Maybe they're priestesses, but these were not the priestesses. These were just farmers, families. They just wanted to be left alone. Like we just wanted to be left alone. Eva, their hordes would have come. Urok, but we never allowed for the possibility. You must have had a good reason, Ian. You must have. I knew it was going to be something like that. She didn't need to. She was too panicked, and that is why I knew it was going to end up like this. I called it. Y'all know I called it. Ian stares down at the spread of burning villages. Far in the distance, the horde of Nalka assembles like a fleshy growth on the land. Ian, it was war. Urok, but your change began before that. Ian, it did? Urok, yes. You began taking charge, overruling the Nalka's decision, granting your Karsus broad authority, little things. Maybe the people did not notice, but we noticed. Luvjatar noticed. Okay, last time those two letters were different. It was Lujvatar. Can we pick one spelling? Don't try to gaslight me. Thank you for stretch. May it fall in red. It was stretch. hydrate. Okay, I hydrate. Arctic might be annoyed that you took the hydrate that was going to come in a few minutes. Yawn. Stretch. Hydrate. Okay. Now the person's name is Love Jatar, which I thought it was before, but anyhow. Okay, Ian says Love Jatar. Urok, maybe we four were not enough? Ian says, what? Urok, you went into the earth. You communed with a fell god. We were not enough for you, so you sought out greater power. Oh. Ian says, of course you were enough. You were my clavigars, my family. Urok, then why? You always led us with a reason, Ian. You must have had a reason to send our armies here, to do this, to throw away everything we built. Ian, I do not know. Urok turns to her. What did you see in the fire, Ian? When you weren't in the catacombs, you were always staring into the fire, into the future, terrified. Ian stares down into the burning villages, fire dancing in her eyes. Momentarily, the sky dims. Ian, something coming. Something grand and dark and vast and unstoppable. A black moon hanging low in the sky over Amoni Ram, over Mamjul, and then over Aditum. The machines could not stop it. The Deva could not stop it. The Nauka could not stop it. Humanity could not stop it. I had to stop it. It had to be me. Urok, oh. They stand in silence on the cliff edge. Urok, then I was enough, even though I didn't win for you. Ian, you did win. Urok, the first time. The scene suddenly shifts, the same location, but now it is the dead of night. Below them, over the cliff edge, the lights of the Sarkites can be seen, a train of wagons and people thousands strong. Xenophon, the Sarkic. Urok, yes, running from the destruction of Black Aditum. Ian, Nadok, and Saarn. Urok, and you, slipped from the catacombs by Love Jathar. Okay, are we just changing that person's name every time? It's Love Jathar now? Pick a spelling. Anyway, slipped from the catacombs, cradled in Nadok's arms, but they were behind us, and a choice had to be made. She turns. Behind her, farther down the plateau, a loose collection of 100 soldiers are massed, dressed in Nauka hides and furs. In the distance, a cloud of dust rises in the horizon. Ian, you stayed behind. Gave us time to escape. Urok, the dream we had in that quarry went with you. Aditum went with you. I would do it again happily, but I failed you. No. Ian says, you were never going to win, Urok. You did not fail me. I failed you. All of you. The dull, loud thundering on the horizon gets louder. The cloud of dust in the distance grows. Urok, then I was enough? Urok lowers her head. Ian holds her jaws and kisses either cheek, leaving a bloody print behind. Ian, you were enough, Urok. You were more than I ever deserved. Urok says nothing but smiles as her skin and muscle begin to decompose. The memory decomposing along with it and rotting into nothing. When Xenophon's cameras reactivate, itself and Ieva are standing on the edge of the pit. Xenophon says, Grand Karcist? Ieva quietly, inside. Within the grave, Urok's corpse has withered to just a massive skeleton. Ian is kneeling by the skull, pressing her forehead to the cranium wordlessly, tears streaming down her cheeks. There's a still from Xenophon AIC's camera feed, and I would bet dollars to donuts that that is just literally an elephant skull. That's my guess. Probably. Yeah, that's gotta be an elephant skull. It's like on the ground, it's big, there's dirt on the bottom of it. There's no tusks attached. There's some degradation over there that's not right, and there's trees in the back, and but yeah, that's an elephant skull. We're right near the end of this chapter. Hold on, we're almost there. So now we have another piece of info, but this is not one of Iyun's truths. This is one of those bits that was written on bone, and so came from someone else, probably. So here is this. Lateral humerus, scapula, and ulna of an adult human male. Humerus is in the arm, scapula, shoulder, ulna. Where's the ulna? I'm not sure where the ulna is. Of an adult human male. So last time we had a legs bit. Now we got arms bits, I think. And we move on. I saw less and less of him as the war dragged on. Oh, is this the same my love who turned against, or who, yeah, okay, I think this is a continuation of the love thing that was written on the leg. So less and less of him as the war dragged on. I understood he had his duties just the same as the rest of us, and I was never jealous for his time. The days he spent in the catacombs turned to weeks, turned to months before he would emerge haggard and emaciated. This sounds a lot like we are describing Iyun, because Iyun did go by different pronouns, and that's all I know who went to catacombs, but uncertain. Blood dripping from his lips where he had supped on the divine flesh to learn its secrets. Oh, it definitely is Iyun. Carrying them back to us, insisting he needed to go back down to keep the beast chained. Even his most loyal Karsists feared to tread down there in the most knotted labyrinth of mausoleums and tunnelways, knowing that a mistaken turn could lead to a slow, painful death, starving while wandering in circles. The other Clavigars were disturbed by the whispering voices inescapable in the catacombs of Adytum, whispering godly secrets and unholy arts, and so it fell to me to descend into the earth to fetch my love when the Clavigars needed him. I carried the oldest maps drawn in his hand and walked through bone-lined ossuaries and through passageways tight enough to crush my chest. I followed the faint sound of his voice coming to me from deep beneath the earth, the weak whimpering, the ecstatic moaning, the purring, the screaming, the demanding, the threatening, the crying, the pleading. When I reached the bottom, the cornerstone all Adytum was built on, I found myself facing a set of massive doors as tall as 10 men. They were sealed shut, and through them I could feel a great and dark power and pain, something older than life, and the moon and the stars, great and grand enough to consume me alive. And then the door opened, and his sunken eyes and gaunt cheeks were facing me. I saw the terror he had done so well to hide. I pulled him into my embrace, kissing his cheeks and ignoring the blood leaking through the doorway behind him, ignoring that I knew the cries were not his. Oh, that's a spooky. Oh, what do you do? But okay, now we are back to the text bubbles that open and close each chapter, or open the thing and close each chapter. In red, we know as Xenophon, after the fact and having memory issues. In blue-green, we have no real evidence, but I get the feeling it's gotta be an SCP personnel. I think it would be like maybe one of the other overseers, or maybe one of the people involved here, but probably one of the overseers that is like not a fan of how all this shook out. But anyway, Red says, she did not speak for 2 days after this incident. She was shocked. All of us were. But only her worldview was fundamentally shaken, because all the events in her memory were suddenly recontextualized. Green says, I don't think I understand what was so staggering to her. Red says, clearly having more memory now. So many words. Uruk had told them, Ion and Elena, that the fall of Adatum was her fault. That whatever Ion had done, she was responsible for the collapse of the city, for the exile of her people, the miserable existence they had been living for as long as Ion can remember. Green, poor girl. Red, I heard her crying in her tent. I wanted to help her, but I wasn't sure what to do. In fact, I'm not sure there was anything I could do. Green says, that's part of being human too. The next is the Vault of Lovjatar. So we're going to say that that is the correct name. It's Lovjatar. But sometimes the V and the J were swapped, and sometimes there was an H after the T for some reason. We are inconsistent. Oh, there's the map. Ooh, they leave that area. Ossuary of Urok is elsewhere. I'm scrolling through to see just how long this would be. I'm quite certain I will not be able to read it before 11. Is it worth trying to continue? Why are you wearing bunny ears? Do you have a gopher there, sir? Oh, that one's gonna be fun to read later. Oh, that one is fun. But simply put, no. This needs its whole stream. All on its own. This is a little... Oh, and this is just... Oh, jeez. Okay. Yeah, it's a long one. And then finally, there's 5. Chapter 5, Tomb of the Witch King. I'm not gonna even open it, but that looks like a lot. And then we have a bunch of the text. Red and green. Okay, those are just buttons. So, we will have a lot to read. This is at least 2 more streams. Chapter 4 and Chapter 5. Well, not at least. But they're definitely not gonna be able to do in one stream. Not the length of streams I've been doing. Maybe an 8-hour stream. But not the 4 or 5-hour ones. Jeez. You little mod loves. You guys give me mod loves. Yeah. We got great mods here. Lots of love to my mods. Thank you so much. So, okay, that says that we do have 2 more to read of this. I'll make sure that I make time to read these. I know I have Cozy Grove tomorrow scheduled. What I might do is do like a shorter Cozy Grove, because it seems that every time I do that, there's a bunch of time in the end where I'm like, bleh, I'm fishing. Just be tomorrow already. And it's not. So I think I could do like a short Cozy Grove. And then also an SCP read. And we just read the chapter. We don't have a specific time. We just read the chapter. And if that's what I'm going to do, then I think I should end early so that I can make sure I get a couple things done tonight so that I can commit fully to the tomorrow. What do we say to that? Folks that would be here. Probably Do has left. Has gone eeps at this point. But I want to make sure that by the time we get to our last chapter that we have due, I can make sure I schedule that. What is my schedule right now for the next little while? Oh, I will have to look at that later. Where is it? There it is. Okay, I say... Yeah, so I have not got any of that booked off yet. We will do it for my last week here at the Apothecary. I will wrap up this, but tomorrow I will do another chapter. We will do chapter 4. That's the plan. That's the plan. Okay. I need to make my schedule for next week, and so now we're just gonna be a little chatty while I talk about this week. Next week, we'll do Cozy Grove. We'll do another chapter tomorrow. I will be a day off. I have things I shall to do. And then I will be back on Thursday. I will be doing a very fun stream. Speaking of our love for our mods, my lovely mod Cage Nightwind, and my other lovely mod Masked Mocha / Master Cora. Different names in different places. We will be playing Power Wash again because we had a very fun time for Cage's affiliate anniversary stream where the three of us goof buckets were playing. So it was fun. Oh. Hi, Akun. I will have to read this out because it is silly. Hi. Remember that whatever mistake you have done last month, or at least you don't fall asleep and ran 135 meters long container ship ashore and almost hit a house. That happened in Trondheim. You know what? Yeah. Whatever mistakes or inabilities I have done, I haven't done that. Good for me. Sorry for a little loud. I just high-fived myself. It was a clap sound, of course, but I high-fived myself. Oh, I can get rid of this. We don't need these up no more. While I yammer. What do you mean I can't transition? What the heck? I don't know what just happened. That was very weird. I don't know why it took me to OBS is being weird. Yes, the hype for Cage, for Mask. We're going to do another hangout on Thursday. And on Friday, I'm going to try and get back to my folk tales. We have not had much time. The last week of me Apothecary sitting, unfortunately right at the end, I should probably make sure everything's in order for when Vi gets back, so I'll be busy on that part. And then she will be back, but then we're just gonna spend some time, me and her being friends, on the weekend. So this next week we're gonna be busy at the very end of the week. We'll maybe stop, say hi. Maybe I'll have Herbert hang out with her a little bit. Maybe she'll have to kick him out immediately. I don't know. But we will have our time together. So I'll just have a few days. Boop and a boop. So it'll be the 8th to like the 11th. I'm gonna do a couple things. We're gonna have to read the last chapter of this. So I'll have to do a big long SCP stream. Or something, SCP stream. And then I have another little plan that's just gonna be let's us have a good summary time. It's not really a celebrate Pride thing, but anybody here do friendship bracelets for summer? It's a thing that people do at camp. There's like the bead ones that you do for concerts apparently. Well, I like them a lot. And I started one and then I let it sit. And I think I'm going to try and grab it. And I have more of the like floss. They call it embroidery floss. And I think I'm going to do let's make bracelets thing. And then maybe also I'll be able to squeeze in a couple other silly little streams. So like next week I'm not going to read very much. I'm going to finish this. We're going to do that. But then I'm gonna sprinkle in some other stuff. So I don't know what we'll do. But it's going to be a sillier fun week. But it'll just be the beginning of the week. It won't be the weekend. So I'm just telling you, we're going to have some silly fun stuff. I'm taking advantage of the nice tech to play games with Mask and Cage, and I'm very excited. And I might try out something else, but I don't want to spoil it yet if I'm not going to do it. And yes, we will fit in at least one hand cam, but we're not doing origami. I didn't bring my origami. Vi has a few things that I left here from when we did have our origami, but it's not enough. And so I'm going to do something else. Since we got the floss, I'm going to try and do a bracelet stream. It's going to be silly. Oh, you have returned, have you? Well, I think we're going to leave soon. But this is our little just chatty moments. We're going to do a little bit of this. I'm going to leave it right now. Anybody have any? I'm not leaving right now. We got a little bit. I'm gonna say you got 15 minutes for sure. I'm gonna end early, but not that much early. Well, 10 minutes for sure. Hydrate. Thank you. Of course. But what do we think about our silly times? Arctic, I was saying, I will read the next chapter tomorrow. I'll do a short Cozy Grow stream at a different time, and then do an SCP. So, like, the times that's on my thing, I'm changing it. But probably sometime in the 7 to 11 window. Not promising that exact window, but somewhere in the 7 to 11 window, I'll probably play. I'll probably read SCPs. And maybe I'll be wrapping up Cozy Grove at 7. I don't know. I will figure out my timing. But I need to do things first tonight to make sure that I can do that. So that's why I want to leave a little early, but I want to chat. What do you think of that? And of course, yes, I announced, I reminded, we're playing Power Wash again. Me, Cage, and Mask. We're going to be our silly fun times. I'm going to try and do an official collab this time. Because last time it was fully Cage's thing, but I don't know if I'll be able to pull off the tech. I'm notoriously bad with tech. I don't know how it will go, but we will see. Will you tell Mask to hydrate when I press the button? Yes, I will. I will commit to that. I can get us going on it. Yay! Okay. Should I hang around? Maybe that's one of the things that we should check on. Maybe that'll buy me time for Thursday, if you know how to do that. Maybe I'll bother you right now after I end stream to make sure I know what I'm doing. Yeah. I was hoping somebody would say, yay, you've changed things. Cozy Grove gets so boring at the end. You really should do more reads. It is Obsidian Reads after all, not Obsidian Barely Games because bad at tech. And nobody is telling me any of this. I was pleased with my decision. I thought people would be excited. But then also, I'm here for the OBS and water. You're here for the OBS? The OBS treacherous tech that does not like me? Obsidian Grove. Oh, I like that. Do we need to change my name? Do I need to change all of my handles? No, Obsidian Reads works. Yeah. And then I'm very excited. I think it will be a very cozy time. And I'll just make some friendship bracelets. It'll be cute. And I'll have you guys help me pick out colors for some of them. And other ones, it'll just be pretty rainbows and stuffs. Actually, I'm going to look at my things. I have a brand new box. And then I have a gifted bag of chaos. I don't even know where to begin with this. It's clearly in an old suitcase bag. Some of it's tangled, some of it's wrapped around cardboard, some of it's on plastic little thingies. But I've got some fun colors there, and I've got some different colors. There's like changey color ones, but it's clearly, it says it's tie-dye box, but it's different flags. Like that's so the pan flag, and that's the trans flag. But those three, I don't know. And that is clearly a good rainbow. And I think that's trying to be the gay flag. I don't know. Anyway, where did Obsidian Reads come from? It came from, I'll be doing a bunch of reads. And black, green. Obsidian can be black and can have a little bit of a green tint, but it's often black. And I like that for my imagery while I'm here. And yeah, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And so many things with Raven were taken. Are you kidding me? I couldn't find it. Lots of people, it was like, no. And I was like, you know what? Let's not make it about me. Let's make it about what I do. And so it was like dark stories. And so we're reading these little foresty stories. Yeah. That's where it came from. Do you like it? Do you judge me? Do you think I should have tried my best to find something with Raven? I don't know. I just felt like I should try something else, and then I went with that. It felt right. Lots of people are like, but it's not your name. And I'm like, well, it's good. Okay, thank you. Quick search. Region V. Well, I didn't know yet that VT was a thing. This is something that I didn't know was a thing. Like, Vi got me into it. I did not know that VT was one of those, like, VTuber. Like, that's the thing. I didn't know. We are committed at this point. We're not going back. Besides, all you Herbert stands out there, because it's not my name, someone else like Herbert could theoretically take over. He could still do his obsidian reads. It's not Raven. Should it not make you happy? But I didn't know VT. It's something that it could do. I would need to get a new, and it's not like I'm big there, but I would need to change my channel name on YouTube. I could live. It would be fine. But yeah, I would have to change that. And Blue Sky, very little. We could change that. Or I could get a new one. But yeah, I don't know. It's something that possibly could be very helpful for me for a growing channel. To be a more coherent brand. But like, do any of you think I'm really that kind of a person that knows what I'm doing and that sort of, or wants to be knowing what I'm doing with that sort of thing? Like, no, just scrabble it together, do what you want, and feel happy. Done. That's my kind of thing for here. Alright, that was a good little yap session. Good little, what the hell are we talking about? I'm gonna get ready to go. I think the VT is like the whole adding XX to a username is valid, but it's cooler if you don't have it. Well, thanks, and same to you, Mr. Nightwind. But, I mean, it's a good way to know. Oh, yeah, that's a VTuber name, but... okay. We are going to raid away. Thank you for listening, for popping in and out, for lurking, for chatting, for whatever. We need to pick somewhere to go. I'm going to prep my end screen. Hydrate. Okay, hydrate. Thank you for stream. Thank you for joining. Oh, you guys are nice. Okay. And where do we raid? Oh, wait. No, go back, Raven. Very important. Whoa, that's not where we're supposed to go. What the hell? I don't know what just happened. Okay. It's raid 1. Oh, raid. Oh, that's so cute, Toast. I give you full permission to use that, copy that, and post it. Oh, wait, but the little guy might not show up in not my stream. Oh, but that would be so cute. Oh, he's such a cutie. Okay. Copy, no leave, or I'll jiggle. But I like your jiggle. It's cute. Jiggle away. Doesn't work if it's not a threat, bro. Don't threaten me with a good time. We're gonna find somewhere to raid out to now. I've given you the thingies. Where do I want to go? No, everybody's gaming. Oh, that's not a gaming. I don't think we have visited you. Hyacinth was in. Hyacinth is co-working and studying right now. It's tough because I want to meet new people and be like, hello, how go? But then, like, also... friend. I think we're gonna go say hi to friend. Hi, Hyacinth! We're gonna raid the Hyacinth. I have no idea what you say, Toast. The text is too teeny tiny. Okay, we're gonna raid into Hyacinth, who is doing a cozy, low energy, laid back, co-working and studying stream. So perfect to go to bed to, probably. Yeah. We're raiding over. Get yourselves ready. Are you ready? Okay, everybody take care of yourself. Eat well, whatever time zone. Happy time zone. I will be back tomorrow, as I have said repeatedly. There will be Cozy Grove and there will be SCP. I don't know when Cozy Grove will start, but most of you don't watch that anyway. It's fine. But you who wanted to watch SCP, we will be back tomorrow night. Kind of around this time. In fact, I will promise at 10:30 tomorrow I will be streaming. Unless I have already finished reading and it went faster than I thought. Okay. Let's go, let's read! Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.